taken over there by Davis. Now to Vivian. Vivian, a real speedster, kicks towards centre half forward. Philip Horton comes down, could have taken the mark, no play on. A long hand pass from Johns was good to Saywell. Saywell has a quick look and pokes it in. Good play by Moore and a good bit of play.
Ah yes, living in the 70s, what a time it was. I can barely remember it, of course, but it is the theme of the SANFL round this afternoon, and you might find that the odd member of our crew has got a little bit enthusiastic about the idea of the 70s, and of course, so I believe Nick Tudwidden is with me this afternoon. We're going to have some highlights from 1971 when Central's first beat Port Adelaide, but to today, Chiggy, the match against South Adelaide for Central is very important.
It's a very important game for both teams, as we've got a very important round. There's three big games, especially Glenelg Port tomorrow. That's going to be a critical game for both teams. You've got North Norwood very much needing the win to keep in touch with the five as well.
You expect the Eagles to beat West, and that's because the Eagles sitting pretty up there in second place. North Adelaide on top. Centrals, this is a crucial game for Centrals as well as South Adelaide, as South seeks to make the five.
Well, you look at Centrals right through to South Adelaide, it's really tight there, and anyone can make that five and cement a spot in there, so every win is critical.
Well, joining us on the boundary line, I insist it is Mark Soderstrom. Welcome, Soders. Geez, you fit the part.
Oh, magnificent. G'day, boys. Chiggy, you look like Sonny Bono, I tell you. I feel like a cross between Burt Reynolds and Ron Jeremy. I tell you, I'm losing my mo just as we speak. So I will tell you that for Central Districts, let's go to them first. Stuart Cochrane jagged his hamstring last night at training, so he won't play today. They won't risk him. And his brother Richie Cochrane comes in after missing 3 games with a hamstring. So Cochrane for Cochrane there. And if Central Districts want to secure that third spot, they need to develop some consistency right about now.
We're playing footy in spurts at the moment, some good periods, but certainly an area we need to work on is playing 4 quarters.
After the Norwood game last week, you said you'd want your players to be hurting after that game. Were they hurting enough during the week?
Yeah, no doubt. Look, we think we had ample opportunity during that game to put Norwood away earlier on. Addressing that after the game has been really good during the week, and I think they're ready to go.
Yeah, looking at the Centrals lost up there, Stuart Cochrane will be a big loss for them. James Gowan in the middle though, and Shell up forward is pretty good. I think they'll still find it tough against the run of South Adelaide today, even though it is on their home ground.
And so does South Adelaide, fined $50,000 during the week for salary cap breaches, and they've got plenty of headaches today as well.
Yeah, they have. Centrals are going to be good, but if we look at South Adelaide, they've got Matty Bishop back in the side. Number 10, look out for him. I don't think he's played for South since around about 2001, so he's over his chest muscle problems, so he'll be keen to get back in the power side. And Alapate Carlisle made his debut for the power last week. He's playing for South today. Just the 37 minutes against St Kilda last week. He had 5 touches. He looked okay. He certainly will improve. And if we look at South Adelaide, it was a 70s-inspired Robert Pyman who thinks the bye came at the right time last week.
It's travelling quite well. It's hard to take this interview quite seriously, so I might rip this off. But look, the opportunity to have a rest at that point in time has been pretty good for us. Gave us a real good chance to freshen the guys up, and they did that over the weekend.
Nice to see you at least tried to get in the 70s theme there, Robbie. We'll have to work on that moustache. Back against Central Districts, you having another go in round 8. Body pressure was what got you through, and that's another emphasis for you today.
There's no doubt, whenever you play Central Districts, you have to have high body pressure, and that's been a focus again this week.
Sure, Robbie will be taking it serious as soon as that siren goes. You look at the run they can get through their back lines is impressive, as well as the 2 key forwards in Cupido and Warren, and the little dangerous Kenner around the forward line as well.
And what Soders takes seriously is the weather. Soders, what's it going to do this afternoon for that hair?
Well, I don't know what it's going to do for the hair. Hopefully if the wind picks up, it'll blow this wig off, but I can tell you around about 15 degrees. It is overcast at the moment. Little bit of breeze will favour the team, kicking to the right of screen, but it's not terribly strong, maybe a goal or so. So let's look forward to some 70s footy, maybe some big hangers, and a couple of old blues would be good for today.
And we see the goal umpires also involved in this 70s round, and of course it's a slightly different look, not only the moustache, which I take it as fake there, but also the old duffel coats and the hats as well, which are a reflection of the way they were in the 70s. Central District, as you can see, this afternoon wearing that all-blue jumper, which again is a reflection of their heritage as a football club. That's mostly what they wore through the 70s until 79 when they went to the infamous, I should say, white jumper with the 2 stripes down the left side of the Guernsey. And South Adelaide, they have had their colours longer than any other club in the SANFL, and they've stuck with tradition this afternoon.
They certainly have, and it's as we've said, it's going to be a big game. Both teams, we want them getting off to a big start just to try to get that edge, because you don't know what the weather's going to do. It looks like it's going to hold off, but it could come in a bit wet later in the day.
Experience of Centrals versus the running power of the young South side.
Yeah, I think that will certainly help Centrals, and the toughness around the footy, especially if it does get a little bit wet. But that run is still going to be very important and going to be hard for Centrals to counteract.
Great afternoon of football coming up, and the only man who isn't dressed for the occasion is Michael Maney, and he's here for the first bounce.
Well, there's a couple of ways you can look at that, Neil. They probably think that I'm stuck in the 70s somehow, and I don't really need to change my mode of dress. I know there'll be a few people that would agree with that. The umpire's there in charge of this match this afternoon, and good to see a different theme in SANFL football. This should be a terrific game, round 17 of SANFL football. South Adelaide have been carried for most of the year by that man on screen, Craig Parry. And there's Chad O'Sullivan. Got to say, boys, I really do like the look of that jumper. It looks terrific. First quarter about to start here at Elizabeth Oval. Central's up against South Adelaide. Very important, both teams get off to a good start. Parry was pretty good in the middle, booted forward by Smith. Davey can't take the mark. Good work by Central, just working hard inside their defensive area. This is Chris Gowans who gets it to Slade. Slade's had a terrific year. He may have dropped off a little bit just recently, but he kicks to the wing. Just to no one, here comes Parry. Everyone just gets out of his way. Haitley, just got to use Bennett. He just goes back a fraction. Bennett to Kenner, who loves to run and carry the football. No exception here. Target long will be Cupido and or Warren, but a lovely mark taken at the back and well judged by Sibanala. Sibanala, one of the most underrated defenders in the competition, kicks toward the wing, and Parry Schooler clash this afternoon along with Jason McKenzie will be a top one, Nick.
Parry Schooler is going to be very important. Parry's been in great form. Schooler's a very good player as well, but that's going to have a big impact on who wins today's game.
Jason McKenzie will play his role also for the Dogs. Here's Warren at half forward, just between wing and half forward. Needs to kick this long, and does, but Wilson's just allowed to take the mark. Uncontested, not good work by South Adelaide. And they're normally pretty good by foot, but I think Nagel might have an opportunity here for South. The target was Swatala. Nagel's handball, just substandard, but it got okay towards Sampson, who got a good shepherd from Nagel. Sampson's got to hook it in with his left boot. Wilson may take another uncontested mark, and just a little bit of lax work by the South Adelaide forwards at this particular stage of the game as Sibanala just to his bootlaces. Just off a step, a wobbly old ball. Curry's got to try and make it good. He will want to see it to the boundary line. That's not a bad result after the kick from Sibanala.
Yeah, both teams just trying to feel their way a bit at the moment. Central's getting a fair bit of the footy, so we're just both working hard to get that first important goal.
So that Parry and Wilson at the moment are kings of the air. They've taken most of the marks. Davey pulled away from the ball, play on. Slade gave it to Wilson, who mishandled, so did Cupido. Wilson will come back, have another opportunity. Cochrane, then out to McKenzie, now to Gowans. Chris didn't like what he saw down the line, tried to hold possession. Whack, set up his own player on Wilson. Now it's James Gowans taken across the line, and Smith working very hard there for South Adelaide. So does.
On the bench for Central Districts, that's Chris Muzzolino sitting down there on the left. He came in for Stewie Cochrane. He was a late inclusion. Also Andrew Hayes next to him, and behind them, big Jonathan Griffin.
Over the ball, Kenner just missed it completely. Sliding him as right, he's gone. Umpire will adjudicate that. The umpires today in the old long sleeve button-up shirts. Another reflection of the 70s as we look in any era. I think that was holding the ball.
Short kick to Gowans. This is James, just pushes off the wing. And looks for Cowan, who's been a productive forward, but not so much in goals. He's only kicked 5 or 6 this year, Luke Cowan. The ball goes out of bounds. There's Luke McCabe, who is retiring from the AFL, has been a terrific player for them. Last year's Odie medalist. Schooler's turned around Parry to right. chances. Archie, who's had a wonderful year, averaging about 28 possessions. Haley's about to get caught. That's a terrific tackle by Justin Westhoff. In comes James Gowan, slung. Lee Westhoff gets a nice handball to Thomas. Thomas just kicks off the instep. Just out in front of Daniel Shell, who's got a bit of work to do with Carlisle right on his hammer. In comes Ware, looking for a bit of body contact, but Carlisle kept his feet and got it to McGlone. McGlone inside to Archer, who's had a couple of touches. That's a terrific rundown by Slade, but the umpire will come in and ball it up. Good work there by Elijah Ware, I think it was. I think it might have called Slade, but it's Elijah Ware who... Good tackle there, Nick. That's a feature of his game.
Yeah, excellent tackle. Just trying to keep the foot in the area.
Parry just went with a check side. Ilgerson, one grab, two. Will he pay it? No. Wilson got a hand on it in the middle of that. The umpire will call for a ball up. Sometimes umpires pay those chickies.
Well, it was nearly there, you would have thought. He had a couple of grabs at it. A bit hard to see from here, but the opposition might have obviously got his hand to it first.
That's good work by Mackenzie to O'Sullivan, who kicks to a lurking Schooler, who can't quite get there. And a boundary throw in. We've ticked into nearly 5 minutes of this first term, but not a score to either side.
Neither side really looking like it at the moment either. It's just a real arm wrestle there through the midfield, so no team yet to be able to break clear and have a real forward attack into their forward line.
Schooler took it out of the ruck. O'Sullivan found Ware forward of the play. He takes off. He is chased down. Well done by Dave. He put the pressure on. Ware's clear again though, and the stab pass inside 50 should be and is taken by Shell.
Great follow-up from by Ware there, but I didn't see who it was, but someone came through and provided the shepherd there. We just gave him time to actually find Shell lace out, and an important kick early in the game.
Daniel Shell with 26 goals for the season, 26-23 in fact, so he's not the most accurate of full forwards, and this one is again just away to the left.
On the bench for South Adelaide, we've got Michael Hanby, ruckman Brett King, who's back in the side, and little Alwyn Davey, who kicked 2 goals in his last outing against NL.
Bad miss by Daniel Shell for a player of his quality, but as Neil mentioned, he's a lot of points, along with a reasonable amount of goals, but ended up around the 50 mark last year, so he hasn't been as productive. Cowan's going to chop this off, couldn't hold on to it. Good work by Nagel, just pushing off Jared Wright. Good to see him back in full fitness for the Panthers. Let himself down with a kick, which will allow Thomas to use Wilson. Wilson's in a bit of space. Normally pretty good in this situation. Wilson uses well and spots up Cochrane. This is Richard Cochrane. Just forced to use the left boot, but Schooler has got it to the run of Ware. They're queuing up in the middle. One of them, Sibanala, running off is Lee Westhoff. Now he's got to get around a couple here. Davies got him from behind. Well, he nearly chased one down a moment ago. The turnover goes to Nagel. Good work. If it's a goal, take your hat off, Davey. Here's McGlone, who loves to drift forward. In some space, Ilgerson. The kick is chopped off brilliantly by Wilson, who came from nowhere. Archer taken to the line. And a couple of key bits of play there, Nick.
Yeah, great work by Davey. You see him around forward being really dangerous in a goal sneak, but that's a great aspect to his game, down to chase from behind. He's done two beauties today already.
His brother does it so brilliantly for the Melbourne Football Club in the AFL. Up goes Mackenzie, down, looking for Gowans. Slips to right, here's Davey. Goes back to McGlone. McGlone's left footer looking for Warren. Maybe he should have had a shot. Warren goes too quickly to ground. Sibanala to Cochrane. Bishop got a boot in. Here's Warren. He kicks looking for Cupido. One grab, two. Well done, Curry. Got some body contact. Also got a bit of the ball. Wilson's held without the football. No free kick. Curry got it away to Mackenzie, who just hacks it out of the area into the centre of the ground, and here comes South Adelaide.
Thorless got one high, did well from halfback, left his man, decided to take the ball, and just caught high on the tackle there coming in from Westhoff. It's Justin Westhoff. So Thorless inside 50 with his kick, looking for Cupido, opposed to 3. Cupido brings it to ground, snap towards goal. And Warren gets to the front. Perhaps one got one high from Sibanala, who's now on the ground and trying to fight forward, as is James Gowans. Will get a bounce near the goalposts. And nearly 8.5 minutes gone. Chicky, and no score. Well, just the one score, but no goals.
It's a real arm wrestle here at the moment. South looking dangerous up around goals through Cupido and Warren, though.
As Sullivan and Cochrane work it outside 50. It'll come straight back, you'd think. Here's Parry. No, disposal wasn't good. Now Wright looked to be taken high. He did get one high in the sling. Central's fans not happy, but I think you'll find as he was slung around here, the second player in there, Elijah Ware, got him high. Elijah Ware did his knee in round 4 last season, had a full reconstruction, and he wouldn't like the idea of a player being slung into his leg like that. Here's Warren at the front. The punch came from Sibonala, still in dispute on the ground. O'Sullivan broke through, gave it to Westhoff, and the Westhoff boys work it out. Belt it down to half forward. Bennett leads the chase back. He'll take it, and he'll come to the wing where Haitley is making position and takes a mark.
Haitley on that wing, as Neil Cross mentioned, right in front of the grandstand at Elizabeth Oval's got a couple on the outer side. They like to switch it. Good kick by Haitley. Finds Sampson. Got around too easily on Chris Gowans. Sampson will pump it long, looking for a mark. Here's Warren. He's got it. Just held on, Ben Warren. Long, direct football. Even though he went into the pocket, Warren was in front, and that's a key.
Well, that quick movement into the forward line again is going to put the Centrals back when under pressure. Warren, strong grab there, and it was going to be very hard for Sibonala to get it away.
First time Warren's been isolated one-on-one. There's been a couple up against him in Cupido. Here comes Warren. He's just left it narrow and a behind.
South's first score coming from the 8th entry inside 50. Central's just been inside 50 the once.
That area, that whole forward movement again was set up through their half-back line there. I think Cowan's really going to have to watch Bennett just falling off him there. He plays that really well, Bennett, being that loose man. Cowan's got to work hard to stick with him and not give him too much freedom.
Paul Thomas to bring the ball back in, the Magarey medalist of a couple of years ago. Spent last season with Essendon, of course. Great long kick, tried to spot up Ware, pushed off the ball nicely. Nagel went to ground. Now, Ilderson got the hand pass out. And they'll go through Haitley to Kenner. He's a left footer, straightens up, drops it in short to Archard, leading wide, 60 metres from goal when he kicks it. Archard, oh, great spot up McGlone in the pocket by himself. Brilliant little kick, and McGlone will go back and you would think should convert from this sort of distance.
If you look at the stats, both teams have had similar amount of stats, but South have had 9 inside 50 entries to Central's 1. So Central's get a lot of theirs through this back area of the ground, whereas South are putting the pressure on going inside 50 a lot.
McGlone, a former rookie with the Sydney Swans and originally from Echuca, comes in and he's missed as well. Well, it's catching, isn't it? And in McGlone's case, he's now kicked 6 goals, 6 for the season.
Yeah, that wind must be playing a few tricks out there, because there's been 3 shots at goal. None of them real hard shots, but none of them look like going through either.
Seem to be pushing it to that side as Thomas's kick is just as far as Parry. He has a bit of an inglorious pass down here at Elizabeth. Well on that in a moment. Finds Nagel. Nagel with what can only be described as an interesting kick. Where snabbling it again was Nagel to McGlone, who chips it short to Clark. Not 15. Umpire called play on. Nagel comes back in. Is he ridden into the ground? And let's have a look at Ben Nagel. What's going on here, Nick?
It's not a great kick, you would say. Trying to step back and kick as he's stepping back. It's just a fatal mistake to make.
Here's Kenner with pace. Uses his non-preferred. Looking for Warren. Can't take the mark. Sibonala, nowhere to go, the pirouette, the dangerous Davey, here he goes, he'll have a shot for goal, he normally nails these and kicks it. The first goal of the game to Alwyn Davey, the goal umpire looking as sharp as a tack, 12 and a half gone. And goodness me, 12 and a half minutes before we get our first, but it wasn't a bad one by Davey.
There was a great work there. Again, just the pressure South have put on Centrals as they're trying to come out of their back line. Davey, you give him an inch around goals there inside 50, he's going to hurt you. Sibonala, it's easy to say, he should have just booted it long. Couldn't see anything in front of him, so he's gone for the hand pass. Davey, smart player, cut it off and finished off with a great goal.
Well, their efficiency hasn't been great, but 10 entries inside forward 50 to 1. It's been a good start by South. James Gowans, Schooler working hard, back to Cochrane. Drops it down towards half forward. Sampson was holding, or was Haitley in fact, but he got away with it. Thewlis centres up for the pace of Kenner, who takes off. Hand pass to Smith, and he's got the option of Kenner, ignores it, decides to go into half forward long. He looked for Warren. Simonala started in front of Warren, who pushed him in the back. Umpire still called play on. Cleared by McKenzie high. Nagel's under this. He's dominated that outer wing. Ware did well. Sampson in the middle. He's got a couple. One of them's Parry. Quickly, well, he did have the option of Clark and realised that he couldn't give it to him. He was well and truly going to be shut down. So Sampson takes it now into half forward, looking for Hanby. Hanby dropped the ball, pulled it straight back in. Now Smith got a disposal away of sorts. Hanby now tackled hard, and eventually we'll get a ball up just outside 50. South working extremely hard. They lead by 7 points. We're about midway through the quarter. Just have another look, and Smith getting one slightly high there from Slade, but no free kick.
McKenzie in the ruck up against Bishop. Interesting, Bishop playing up forward, Chiggy. Started the game in the forward line, a renowned defender for Port Adelaide in the AFL, playing up forward.
Yeah, he's a good player and a very agile, reasonably big man, so he'll be dangerous wherever they play him, forward or back, even through the midfield type.
Lovely knock down to Kenner. Kenner's kick. Kubido! Oh, he's claimed the mark. Just held on long enough, I think. Central's crowd don't like it, but, well, the umpires are consistent. A bit of a change down there, so does King just about to come on.
Yeah, he's going to do some ruck work, and Craig Parry coming off for his first breather for the game, 15 minutes into this first term.
42 goals, 24 this year for Damien Kubido. He booted 11 a few weeks ago. And that big win down at Noarlunga, I think it was, maybe against Port. He booted 11 goals. From 35, shouldn't have too much trouble. He's got a bit of a hook on it, and he's missed it. Well, that breeze is just floating that ball across, and that's 3 behinds they've kicked have all been to that side.
He'd be very disappointed with that. A player of his quality should have gone back. Again, not a hard kick a goal, especially for someone of his talent. And as you can see, they're pretty disappointed. I would have certainly said that was going to be put away. Warren looking really dangerous, I think, on the lead. And Kubido, if you give him an inch, he's going to hurt you. But on that occasion, for Central's lucky he didn't.
Kubido kicked 5 straight when these sides last met. It was a 56-point win for South Adelaide down at Noarlunga over Centrals.
I regret to say, Michael, he kicked his 11 against Sturt, not Port.
If anyone would know that, Moggy, it'll be you.
James Gowans plays on at half-back. Two-sided player drops it in to several Bulldogs, all lurking with intent. One of them was Cowan, took the mark. And Smith, well, he looked like he was encroaching on the mark, but he was allowed to. Chris Gowans takes off. Inside 50 with the kick, wasn't the greatest of spot-ups. Coming in there, Nagel bumped the ground by his own player. Now Thomas on his left foot. Beautiful pass, McCabe on the end of it. That's efficiency. They've had 2 shots at goal from 2 entries into their forward 50, Centrals.
Yet to kick one, though. It'll be interesting to see if McCabe has learnt from everyone else's mistakes so far today.
Well, with all his experience, 138 games with Hawthorn, you'd think he'd know how to kick a goal, and he does so. He's very accurate.
And sorry, Neil, that's that experience you were talking about earlier. They've got some experienced players. As you see, Gowan's got it in there, across to Thomas, another experienced player there. Just pops it up there so McCabe can run onto it. And again, a very nice kick to finish it off. Central certainly needed that. They needed a steadier. South have had all the play, I would say, at the moment, and only their second inside 50.
11 goals for to Luke McCabe this season, who's played a majority of his football in defence for Hawthorn and also for Centrals, but proving that he's able to go forward and be productive. The umpire bounced the footy and didn't like what he saw, and he'll probably throw the ball in the air this time. They've all got the option in SANFL footy to do that. Parry knocked it down to no one in particular, but Kenner was good enough to shark it. A high kick. Cochrane in front of Davey. Not paid the mark, didn't hold it. Schooler's looping handball to Swatala is a real beauty, and the kick by Swatala matched that. McCabe starting to get a bit of it. Goes forward, and a lovely mark taken by James Gowans. Gowans wants to go on with play a little bit too quickly as Sampson just smothered the footy and did okay and gained about 7 or 8 metres. Good work by the skipper, Clay Sampson, to be right on the ball.
Great work. You can see what James Gowans was trying to do, get it in quick. Didn't get back off the mark, though, and really hurt his team by getting the smother there.
Schooler knocks it down beautifully to O'Sullivan, who's lively. Kicks it long. Shell will be the man. Can't take the mark. Oh, just about fell in his lap, though. Wearing those short sleeves today, Daniel Shell. Foxed it out beautifully. Swatala just fed the handball away to Slade. This is Cowan. He's got to use Chris Gowans. He spears the kick looking for Ware. Ware's right on his distance here. Just outside 50. Unsure where to go. Terrible kick. Just about chopped off by Davey. Richard Cochran does an Academy Award performance, but it's foxed out the back to Thomas. Thomas hasn't kicked a goal this year. He kicked a lot of points. He kicks forward and it clears the pack through for AB Hines. So the Doggies starting to get a little bit of something going, and coming up at quarter time, some interesting stuff. There's Central v Port back in 1971. And good to see some of the old footage in black and white.
Free kick for Centrals, and they play on advantage. Get it up to the goal face. Smith did well, got his player away from the ball. Justin Westhoff got the hand pass away again. Hard work in there by the defenders from South Adelaide. Kenner uses his pace. Drives it wide, looking for Bishop off the knees. Bishop back to Kenner. Kenner down the line, he can go. Good spot up to Ilgerson. In the middle, he's got players running. He's got Clark in the centre of the ground and Hanby for the hand pass. He goes to Hanby and back again. Down to half forward, looking for Cupido. Laconically towards the ball and towards the boundary and over the boundary and throw it in, says the umpire. The Dogs fans would have been happy with the free kick.
Did that well, Curry, because that's Cupido. He's just a genius of that Norley. He can weave his way out of anything. But Curry didn't attack him, just sort of kept behind him, putting pressure on him.
King from the ruck goes down forward looking for and not able to find Warren, but the bounce was great. Hill just sent off the ground, had two whacks at it. I don't think he missed both, did he? No, it's a goal.
Fell on his boot.
There's irony there and that smile of Ilgerson. Let's have another look. Fell on his boot. Well,
It was there, but you wouldn't say it's textbook goal.
I think he calved it through, didn't he?
No, I think here we go. It all counts though, and South worked hard for that one, but certainly needed the goal. They've had a lot of the play just for their second goal.
Crow Jonathan Griffin into the ruck. Paul Schooler having his first spell for the game.
Oh dear. Interesting goal by Ilgerson, but they all count. Back in the centre. Griffin, beautiful tap down to Gowans, to Lee Westhoff, to Swatala. Swatala thought about Justin Westhoff, but went to the big man in Cowan. Over the back, Thulis, who does this so well for South Adelaide. Sampson has got to use Clark. They're in a bit of trouble. They need a kick, I'd say. Thulis gets it back to Clark. Clark, they still don't want to kick the footy, South Adelaide. A lot of possessions. They're number one for possessions in the competition, South, and that's the reason why. They do fiddle with the football. At half-back, Nagel had McGlone in short, but Nagel would just tee it off, looking to the wing. And Hanby got in good position, took the mark. Floating pass was Carlisle, decided to use McClone. Oh, some good talking. McGlone kicks to half forward. Ilgerson behind his man in Wilson, who's had a couple of good touches. He looks okay, Wilson, today. Handball over the top. McKenzie must go in short and spots up McCabe. McCabe about 3 kicks out from goal for Centrals. Just kicks looking for Cowan. Cowan just burst through. Westhoff didn't go. Elijah Ware did. This is trouble for South. Ware stops, props. He's got to use Chris Gowans. His kick smothered. The Gowans boys kick not getting away. McCabe to Gowans again. Over the top. Here's an opportunity for Westhoff. Westhoff, Justin kicks, but Carlisle takes the mark in front of Daniel Shell. And both teams just fiddling a bit at the moment, Tiggy.
Yeah, Central's delivery inside 50 hasn't been brilliant, but I don't think Shell's actually presented that well. A couple of times there, you see the guys, Central's guys wanted to get it in quick, but there was no one leading or providing a target.
Boy, a clean pair of heels shown by Davey then. He was on Griffin and they backed his pace with a kick and he went away. That wasn't the greatest of disposals though. Now Cochran, Dogs running through the midfield. McCabe has got Slade to go to. Slade can take off and bury it deep inside the forward line. Were it not for the smother, he would have. Now he goes off his left foot looking for Shell. They've manned up on him very well. Carlisle was held. He'll get a free kick. And away will come Bennett on the advantage. Nobody on centre wing for him except Sampson. This kick has got to count. It does. Sampson now pushes off Gowans, goes down to half forward. Not a great kick. In between two players, Ilderson and Warren, and going back, taking the mark, Sibonala, who went back to McCabe. And now Centrals will get another chance to line up. Through the corridor they come to James Gowans, waiting for a lead, waiting. Finally, he goes for Shell, and it was punched away by Carlisle. Well done, athletically done, and that's a free kick for too high. Centrals will get it, and it'll be Chris Gowans this time. No doubt about that one as Chris Gowans kicks inside 50. Cowan with the big stretch. Hard to oppose that, isn't it, Chiggy?
That was a great mark. Took it way out in front of his eyes and high above his head. It's going to be hard for Bennett coming over the top there. That's where he's dangerous. Get it in quick and let him be in front and attack the footy. This is an important goal to go back and kick. See the quick kick in there again. Beautiful. You can see his hands right out high and high above his head. Good take.
There's no flex in those elbows, was there? It was hands straight up. Cowan lays back. Umpire does the hard work and says goal. Well, umpire went to the point side or the behind side of the goal, but still signalled goal. Fooled me for a moment.
They do that for our benefit.
That's what they did in the 70s, I suppose.
This quarter's sort of been played in two halves, I suppose, because Centrals certainly have come back in the second half and have nearly equal. There's 13 inside 50s to 11 now. Centrals are 11, so they've had a lot more attacking football this second half of the quarter.
The difference between the Centrals forward line and South. Centrals playing in front, South playing from behind. Slade, Foxes is out toward James Gowans, who can't get through. They're laying over top of him. He gets to his feet and then burrows again. The umpire will ball it up. 25 and a half gone. Just a point the difference, and there's the theme of the day. Back to the 70s. Oh, that moustache. Oh, yeah, very quite happy with the hairdo, but look at it. Griffin over the back, got a call from Slade. Gets around Parry all right and uses Swatala, who's one of the best finishers in the business. And have a look at that for a kick. Oh, Cowan's pulled up. He's done a hammy, I think, Luke Cowan. He's going to go to the bench. Swatala got the handball. Shell! Out in front. Luke Cowan in a lot of bother. Yep. And it's a hammy, you'd have to say. Right on the full burst there, Luke Cowan.
That's going to hurt Centrals too, because he's actually provided a great target up there in the last 10 or 15 minutes. So that's a beautiful pass there. And look at him, bang, pulls up there. Oh.
Shell splits the middle and backs up the work from Adam Swatala. And also this man, Luke Cowan, devastation for him. Just booted a goal a moment ago and he was looking good. But the Doggies are out by 5 points.
There it is, and well, that's something Central District fans wouldn't have liked to see, that's for sure. Pulling up there, he's been giving them a good target and making Bennett work pretty hard. Bennett's been right with him, but Cowan playing in front has been very good in this last 10 or so minutes, but I'd say we'll struggle to see him again today.
Soders will be right on that as Gowans gets the ball out of the middle for Centrals. Big space at centre half forward opens up, knocked away by Bennett. Hately the first to it. Smith lends him some support, then takes it towards the line. Bennett back inside to Hately, inside to Kenner. He can go, he goes further afield. Kenner will get it eventually. He'll want to go back on his left foot. Quarter time. Match of the day at Elizabeth. And it's been hot in the kitchen, there's no doubt about that. Central's taking the lead into quarter time. 3-2-20 to South Adelaide, 2-3-15. 5 points the margin. Well, in our 70s theme, we're going to keep with that and have a look back to Central District against Port Adelaide from 1971. And that was the first time that Port had ever been beaten by Centrals. Let's have a look at that fateful day, July 10, 1971.
Gasly can't control it, had a quick hand pass out. There was a beauty to Northworthy. Northworthy's got the chance to drive this ball deep and long. It's a beauty. Back there is Saywell. Across there is Moore. Saywell's got the chance. He's a clever player, snaps it back over his shoulders, and this is a magic hit, and a true for a major.
That is the goal of the day, and it'll have to be a ripper to beat it.
Throw in. Over goes Saywell. Big Jones is there. He takes it, gets onto his left foot. It's a beautiful snap, a magic snap.
Well done, that's his second.
Taken over there by Davis. Now to Vivian. Vivian a real speedster, kicks towards centre half forward. Philip Horton comes down, could have taken the mark, no play on. A long hand pass from Johns was good to Saywell. Saywell has a quick look and pokes it in. Good play by Moore, but umpire O'Connell has indicated all clear. Yes, he has, and a good bit of play. Over there is Johns, even up the air, take away here off hand by Mulholland. Got a good kick from Mulholland, should have straightened up. Back there is Jones using his body. That was a beautiful mark, but brilliant mark. Should put it through for a major, comes in, deliberate shot, and yes, he's put it through for his fifth. A good performance. Kicks up towards the square. Back there is Mulholland. Mulholland has the ball knocked away from him, but Nosworthy steps. It's going to go through. It's off the major, and Centrals have gone berserk, and so are their supporters. Dix works his way towards the boundary line. Across there is Dennisary. Dennisary's got players coming at him. Goes for a short kick in towards the goal. And it's through, and you can put that down to White.
Airline, so he's got it.
Ella White kicks towards the half-back flank. Underneath it is Broadbridge. Over the top goes Big Farnham. Farnham takes a couple of bites, and it's taken away there by Nosworthy. A long kick goes up towards the square, and they'll win it. Central District, no shadow on doubt. Farnham gets the tap in. It's taken away by Bruce Light, though. He goes for a short kick. Across goes Casserly. Casserly won't get to it. Knocked down hard. It's intercepted again by Casserly. Casserly playing a brilliant game now. He kicks in towards the square. A long one looking for the big fella and Moore. And Moore's taken the mark. And Central District have got this game shot for the world.
Comes in very carefully, dropped it very carefully. That was a good shot, that one. And he's found it. Good effort there from Moore. Arnold's kick right to the full forward position. Big Jones in front, but nipping in it's Johns, and he'll take it on the third grab. And this will put Centrals further away.
As number 9, Johns, is on his way in from point blank range. And it's a goal. It's a goal, and that's the end of it. And there it is. Central Districts a magnificent win.
A brilliant performance by Central Districts, and this now gives Central Districts still a rough chance of making the four.
Well, that was 1971. Centrals had been in the league competition since 1964 and had never beaten Port Adelaide before that day. July 10, 1971 at the Elizabeth Oval. And look at that score, 16-14-110 against Port Adelaide's 11-14-80. And joining us now, a man from that era, Richard Cochrane, whose son Richard is playing today. Hello, Richard, and
hello, Neil.
Thanks for joining us. What are those memories of the early days of Centrals and the development out here?
Oh, the memories are wonderful. I guess we used to look forward to wearing the old Guernsey, all climbing on board a bus before the game, and the whole team travelled to away games together as a team. Under Dennis Jones, he was quite innovative, and we all stuck together very close. We'd meet here at the club, have a meal beforehand. In those days, that was acceptable. And, yeah, we'd make the trip into town and all arrive at the ground together en masse. And they were very exciting days. Some wonderful players and wonderful memories.
It was a great era. We're looking at some shots now, the old cards from 1971, and some of those players there, including the likes of Malcolm Blight, Lindsay Backman, Stuart Palmer from South Adelaide, Freddie Bills, players like that. Obviously, great names. Sonny Morey from Centrals.
Absolutely, yes. And Barry Nosworthy out there today. I'm looking forward to catching up with him in a little while. Haven't seen him for many years.
Richard, you must be very proud that your two sons, Richard and Stuart, have, after many years of pain out here at Elizabeth, are now enjoying being part of the successful era.
Absolutely. I can remember watching Centrals on their very first game running out in '64, and it was a long, long drought all through the years that I played and then afterwards. So for them to enjoy the sweet taste of success in the last few years has been wonderful.
If we go back again to those black and white days, I guess Centrals or Elizabeth was just so far afield from Adelaide at that time. You said you went in a bus to all the away games.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. Yeah, Dennis liked to keep the team together, and we would travel by bus. That went on for right through the period that he was coaching us, and they were wonderful times. We also came back from the grounds on the bus and hopefully, you know, often singing the song. Or we sang whatever the case, whether we won or we lost. But yeah, players were very close and wonderful times.
All right, Richard, well, thanks for that. And you mentioned the song. It'd be interesting if they win this afternoon. We do have the old song to play for all the Centrals fans out there.
Not very many of us will remember it, but I'll have a go.
Okay, thanks, Richard.
Thank you, Neil.
Richard Cochrane there joining us. And Sodas, you've been in the Central huddle.
Yeah, big problem for Central Districts, of course, is that Luke Cowan looks to have jagged a groin, so an adductor problem for him. Now, he's the key to their forward line, certainly takes some pressure off Justin Westhoff. So he looks like he will be out. The ice is on the groin now while he's sitting on the bench, so we probably won't see him for the rest of the game. Last week, he had a cork against Norwood in the third term. He went off the ground, and soon as he was off, Central District struggled up forward, so a big loss for them. Roy Laird needs to juggle things up forward. He's going to put Adrian Wilson at half forward. We'll see him in action. And last week, lots of missed opportunities against the Redlegs. Central were 22 points up in the second term, yet they still did go down, and today they were reminded just to take all the opportunities that South give them.
We're just about set for a start. There's just time to go through our tipping winners. Carol Bennison of Adelaide tipped the round last week. Dennis Byerley still leads the way on 64 points, but as you can see, it's pretty close. Get online, abc.net.au/SA footy, and here's Michael Maney.
Second term, a 5-point lead to Central Districts. Terrific to go back in history and speak with Richard Cochran there. And the buses backwards and forwards, terrific, real team harmony. This Dogs outfit has had plenty of team spirit. I suppose you win 5 grand finals about 6 years, you've got to be happy. Gowans, surely a free kick. This is James. So the early centre square clearance will go to Central. This cuts through the middle. Runs his full measure. Kicks it long, hoping for a mark in the pack. No one can grab it. Shell's there. Emerging out the back was Slade, only as far as Smith. A lot of smothering going on today. Handball over the top to Clark. Clark loves to run. Plenty of pace for the footy. Bishop, his first touch of the afternoon, I'm sure, Moggy, goes toward Wright, who got it back to Bishop. The run by South Adelaide, provided by Kenner. Kenner spots up Ilgerson. The kick is lights out to Wilson. Ilgerson. Wonderful movement of the football by South Adelaide. They love the wide expanses of Noarlunga, and this is a big ground, Chicky.
It is a big ground, and it will allow them to run and use the football. Bishop is through his days with the power, you know. He loves running out of defence there and using the ball well. It was a great delivery and a great lead, actually. Good take, just all good running football by South Adelaide, getting it in quick. Very important goal early.
Let's see how clean off the boot this one is from Ilgerson. He kicked one he didn't even want to kick in the first quarter. But from 47 metres, Ilgerson drives a long drop punt just away to the right for a behind.
Yes, that's it, South. They started the last quarter running the footy and using each other well. They've got to maintain in doing that. Central's cut it out in the second half of that first quarter, so Central's will be keen to try to block them up again.
4 points the margin. Big mark taken by Hayes for Centrals. Look down the ground and decides to go high and long, 70 style if you like. And Westhoff pays off. That's Justin Westhoff on centre wing, takes the mark, drops it in short, hurriedly. Almost got to Wilson. Westhoff out the back, Lee Westhoff, and then Gowans. This is Chris Gowans off the left leg, inside 50. Helicopter pass, and only found Alapade Carlisle in his first taste of AFL football last week. He can play on if he likes. There's just nobody standing the mark. Decides to run off, then runs away around one. Goes wide, very wide, just inside the field of play for Parry. Parry takes his time. This isn't Southwark. They want to move it in a hurry. They all seem covered now, so he drops it in short. Coming on the lead, the skipper and Sampson. Off and running around Thomas. Goes down to half forward. At the back came Warren, split the pack. Ball to ground. Griffin, unlikely rover. Now it comes to a true rover and Davey. Found some space. McGlone forward of the play. Now Archard wanted to release it, did so, but only as far as Griffin, who comes this side, and O'Sullivan's in space.
O'Sullivan with plenty of pace, had Wilson short, but he's got Slade in an acre. Slade can have a couple of bounces. Closing in is Sampson, who'll get around him okay. Slade from 50, sets sail for home, and kicks a lovely long goal.
He could have tried to get it in quickly. Knew that he was going to be able to just step around Sampson, I think it was, and get it in over the top and finish off with a goal. Dangerous player to leave with that much room on his own, especially around goals. He's going to always hurt you running into an open goal.
10 possessions for Matthew Slade, which is matched by Stephen Kenner and James Gowans. Chris Gowans.
Right, Kenner. Now Parry out of the middle for South Adelaide. Long and at the back. Warren won't get there. Cupido brought it to ground. Wright was taken down beautifully. Hand pass out. He was penalised, but the free kick will be advantage to Ware. Ware looks up. Thought right foot, decided left. James Gowans inside, he can go to Thomas, breaks away. Now he's got Akers to work with, takes a bounce, inside 50 with the kick. Doesn't really advantage Shell, but Shell almost made the most of it. Hadley came in, nicely done by the young man. And now Carlisle is over the ball. Comes back to Lee Westhoff, around the corner, his snap. It's another goal. Oh, the pressure's on from Centrals. Around the ball, and they're just getting the clearances when they count.
Yeah, South have just got to be careful. They're just giving the central midfielders a little bit too much room. You can see they've got plenty of space there. Good lead and presenting there well by Shell there. Westhoff is in around there. It's Lee Westhoff this time that finished off with a great goal. South just got to tighten up a little bit through the midfield and not let Centrals run it out. Centrals are trying to beat South at their own game here. They're playing on at all costs. You watch every time they get it, they're looking to play, give it to the runner.
35 goals, 15 between the two Westhoffs this year is terrific work. Smith's kicked, about to be chopped off. Here goes O'Sullivan, over the top looking for Ware. Ware in a good tackle. It slips over the back to O'Sullivan. He's closing 35 metres and splits the middle for another one. The Dogs are on a rampage. They've kicked 3 in 3 minutes.
There we go again, O'Sullivan, another midfielder for Centrals. Just working it. There you go, the old Centrals flag too. She was a beauty. Here you go, Sullivan working hard. Gives it out once. Ware gets it back to him. Just great follow-up. Just pushing the ball forward at all costs. Creating an opportunity. And O'Sullivan finishing off there.
Chad O'Sullivan from Werribee this season into that number 7 jumper, which has been worn so proudly by Marco Bello in all the premiership years. Taking a while to find his feet, O'Sullivan, but he bursts through and just shows that he knows the pace of SANFL footy now. Down to half forward. Sampson knocks it away. Parry gathers the crumb. Wright will share it again with Sampson. He can bounce his way to half forward. Decides instead to kick. Sibonala ahead of Warren. Kicked it away. Now comes off the ankle of Sampson. Advantages Centrals. Ware is clear on the wing, can go short and does so, looking for Westhoff. That's Justin Westhoff, taken to ground by Hadley. He can go inside, he opts not to. He opts to circle round and go long. Looking for Shell, 3-on-1. And the one mark was taken by Parry, who releases wide looking for Clark. Wasn't the greatest of kicks, set the task for Clark, who pulled it back in. Clark taking his time now. Central's obviously flooding back. Decides to go wide to Bishop. Bishop's still at half back, around about 80 metres from the south defensive end of the ground to McGlone, and they're slowing it down, South Adelaide.
To the wing, right, and just trickles over the line. I tell you what, so does for ground level. I'm just seeing some black clouds hovering around Elizabeth Oval at the moment.
Michael, in the last 5 minutes since this quarter started, the breeze has picked up, so it's certainly favouring Central Districts rather, which would help them with those 3 goals. And it has got a lot darker, so there could be some rain later in the day, and I think this could be a good indication that it's coming.
A lead will be handy as James Gowans, it flicks over the back. Bennett will have to do some of his best work close to the line. O'Sullivan takes him there. Bennett did okay. Coach's box, Robert Pyman looking on. He would be concerned with those 3 quick goals, G.
Yeah, Central certainly have broken the game open in this first 5 minutes of the quarter, or 8 minutes of the quarter, and still looking dangerous, going in 50 a lot more.
Boundary throw in, taken by Gowans. He hooks it across the body. Are behind. They're looking dangerous, that is for sure.
They've certainly picked up the tempo. They're running and playing on every chance they get, but they're trying to cut South's run out and successfully doing it at the moment.
Here's an indication as they man up pretty well. Not the greatest of kick-ins. Tried to find Clark. Came wide to Slade. Quickly to Chris Gowans. Over the top to O'Sullivan. He'll stroll into goal. They've got another one.
And it's the small players, the Centrals doing it again. Chris Gowans, O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan's had a great quarter here. Dangerous kick in there, especially when you're under a bit of pressure. McCabe, just a smart little kick out into a bit of space. Chris Gowans sees someone in, he could have had a shot himself, but that made it 100% certain it was going to be a goal by getting it over the top. And O'Sullivan for his second for the quarter, second I think, so he's having a good quarter.
He's had 5 possessions this quarter already, 12 for the game.
They are on the ball, Centrals, and they can see those rain clouds coming, and the lead will be quite important when it gets slippery, and I think they'll play a bit better in the wet, Dick.
Oh, absolutely. I think the wet will certainly hurt Central, especially the toughness around the footy.
This summer's been a little bit of a pattern for South Adelaide. They do get behind in games and then come home with a run at the end. Here's Swatala, who kicks, looking for Shell on a long lead. Bounces too much for him, handled it okay. Got it back to Gowans. Gowans spears the kick, in looking for, not finding O'Sullivan. Wilson on his non-preferred. Don't tell me. It was looking like another goal, but Wilson's been handy both back and forward.
Yeah, as Soda said, Wilson going forward, but he's got great skills and gets plenty of space. He's going to be dangerous up forward. It'll be interesting to see how he goes. I look forward to that.
South working hard. Not the greatest of kicks. It was too short. Wright was called to play on. James Gowan's back inside 50. O'Sullivan sits and waits. And he had plenty of time and plenty of space to wait for that ball. Lining up for his third for the quarter.
Not sure who's on him up forward there, but sure Robbie Pyman will be sending the message out to make sure they tighten up on him. Again, James Gowan, just a smart little kick, and O'Sullivan got Paddock there again in front of goals.
Didn't look the greatest of kicks, but it was certainly effective. And they're out by a 6-goal margin.
Yeah, again, as you can see, James Gowans with strength, didn't panic, had South players all around him, didn't have to kick the cover off the footy, just a smart kick, just popped it up, and O'Sullivan didn't have to really pinpoint him because he had so much room. As you said, Neil, didn't look pretty off the boot, but it was effective, and Centrals get another goal and move further in front.
Chicky, Benny Nagel's gone to O'Sullivan. He took the long way round too after O'Sullivan's kicked his third. He just wanted to sneak back onto him, didn't want anyone to see him.
I bet you did.
Well, clearance. South need a clearance. They won't get one. Swatala looks for Griffin. Big Griffin. He'll have to kick it long. Here comes Daniel Shell with Carlisle in the back for Shell. Just stuck his backside out. And when you kick it long and you move the football like these guys, this is a rout. They've kicked 5 unanswered goals in this term. The last goal by South at the 20-minute mark of the first term. And Shell's lining up for his second, and goal number 6 as Parry takes a spell down the mark in a moment. Shell left it narrow.
It's a real problem for Daniel Shell, really. He's a great player, gets leads well, fantastic mark, but just lets himself down too often with missing goals. And if he could get that side of his game going, he would be absolutely a match winner in more occasions than he is at the moment.
Carlisle now in the pocket. Just around from the scoreboard, which looks bleak at this stage. 8-5 plays 2-4 in favour of Centrals. Looks bleak if you're a Panthers fan and you've made the trip all the way from Noarlunga. Davey drops it wide, looking for Bishop. McKenzie came over the top. King, ground level, released it to Smith. Slade stole it, tapped it towards the boundary. He'll take that every time.
Halfway through the first quarter, South led the inside 50s 12-1. Since then, Centrals have had 21-4 and have kicked the last 7 goals unanswered.
It's just a 1 lead change, and that was at the 26-minute mark of the opening quarter, with South leading until then, and Centrals, of course, have taken over since. Swatala, hand pass of sorts. Lee Westhoff, Slade, working back. He looks into the centre. There's nothing on, so he goes down the line. Good mark by Haitley reaching back. He'll want to run it. He does. Off to Clark and back to Haitley. They get themselves into a bit of bother, but get away with it through Sampson. Good pass, looking for Bishop. Should take it, does. Archer forward of the play. He goes for it. Over the top. What's the bounce like? It's perfect. Archer can bounce his way towards 50. Straightens up, goes for the left foot, and the pass just doesn't make it to Ilgerson. Instead cut off by Hayes, and Centrals will relieve the pressure immediately.
Hayes to Schooler. It's got a bit of airtime. Allows Bennett to come in and crash through. Nagel. Got to get the handball off to someone. It ends up with Bennett, who's got to use Kenner. Oh, they're panicked at the moment, South. Cupido hasn't seen much of it. South's forward line hasn't seen much of it. Long kick by Cupido. Ilgerson at the front. Good knock away by Hayes. Right. Can he squeeze through a goal? I think he did. Lovely goal. And boy, did South need that.
Very much needed goal there by South Adelaide, and again wasn't an easy one for them. Had to work hard, but right spot there, and didn't panic again. Waited till he saw the gap and finished off with a nice goal. But again, Central's players putting a lot of pressure on them there. But, South needed that goal. They need the next one or two to make sure they get back into the game. As Soda said, I think the wind is going Central's way at the moment, but you wouldn't say it's that strong that they should be leading by that much.
Guys. The King. Ruck against Paul Schooler. Schooler takes it out of the ruck. Lee Westhoff was quick with the hands. There was a hand in there on the ball. That's why he didn't actually find his target. Slade put his head down. Centre of play's got Ware free. Ware can go to Wilson. In the end, he opts to go that way. Wilson, though, was set up. Thorless came over the top with a punch. Carlisle got a bad bounce. Shell back to Wilson. He's on his left. Go down the flank. He does to Chris Gowan. Centres up with the left foot, looking for O'Sullivan, or rather his brother it is. James Gowans, Carlo, or rather Cupido. What's he doing back there? Off the right foot, just inside the boundary line. And relieving for South Adelaide at the moment, Bennett.
Bennett's gone forward, Neil. Cupido's gone back, so that's probably the change.
Well, Robbie Pyman had to try something, didn't they? Centrals were just taking control of the game, and, you know, good on him. It's worth having a go.
O'Sullivan, Cupido lined him up. Nicely done by O'Sullivan, got away, got it to Switala, got it to Shell, 2 grabs, play on. Lee Westhoff, snap, bounce, what's it like? McCabe goes for it, it'll beat him out of bounds in that forward pocket.
Yeah, just about got him sort of spun out of it beautifully there, but Cupido certainly lined him up there, and if connected, would have hurt, I would imagine.
No theatrics by O'Sullivan, just got on with the job. No fuss football. Taken by McCabe. Gowan's got it towards Shell. Shell locked in the pocket. He just kicks a high kick. Westhoff there, Hately. Thumped away. Working at ground level, Archer. Over the top, Sampson. Sampson's got to clear the area. Didn't have anyone to kick to. Did he find touch? No, he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. Well, under some pressure at the moment. Roy Laird would like what he's seen in this second term. Thomas with a kick. High, big pack fly. Hately got a fist on it in the middle of all that. Switala with pace, can't keep it in. Boundary throw in. Well, Robert Pyman did have to try something. Archard hasn't had much of an influence on the game. Bishop also hasn't been around the football enough.
No, and if Cupido going forward like that or getting around the footy, they've got to make sure that he's working hard. That can be sometimes his downfall, but up here he's going to have to work really hard. Don't mind Bennett up forward, though, giving him a target.
Well, he can take a mark. He's good overhead. Westhoff, this is Lee. Will it come down? Oh, Shell nearly took it. Ware just about went off the ground, and it's robbled through. Goodness me. Another one to Centrals. Amazing stuff.
Is it McCabe who got it in the end, or where are they?
I'm trying to avoid saying who it is.
Again, in numbers
I think
there.
it was Ware.
Well, McCabe's trying to claim it anyway. And in that situation, anyone probably can. But that's the benefit when you've got 2 or 3 players running and supporting each other. Shell provided the target, provided the sport, nearly took the mark in that situation. Had players front and centre running past and then finished off with the goal.
Jared Wright coming off the ground for South Adelaide. Michael Hanby on.
And there's Hanby in the middle, got the hand pass to Archer, broke a tackle, looking for a hand pass. That was dangerous. Schooler will be taken to ground by Cupido, who's in the centre of the ground now.
Neil, just on that move with Hanby and Wright, last year we did see Hanby play off the bench a lot, and he was changing with former Richmond utility Tim Fleming. Today it looks like that Wright's got that job, just rotating on and off the bench, and Wright, pretty good touch, 32 touches last game.
James Gowans, nicely done. Curry scrambles the ball forward. Wilson trapped it. Chris Gowans tried his best to get it away from him, but Wilson stays over it. Now Chris Gowans taken to ground in the tackle. No free kick.
Again, I think that's another pretty good move by Robbie Pyman. Hanby get a bit of strength around the footy, a bit more experience as well. He did find a bit of the footy in the first quarter in around the stoppages, so worth a try.
King, Curry. Inside 50, high. Wouldn't like to sit under that. Comes to Carlisle. pretty severe with the hand pass. Hanby released it. Now it comes to Justin Westhoff. Outside 50, straight back in from Swatala to the goal face. Well taken by Clark. Read it best. He's the only man sitting there. He comes wide. Kruger backs up, takes his time. Down the line he comes, looking for Bishop. Set him up. Coming over the top was King just as well, because McKenzie was almost had the ball in his hands when the punch came from King. Robbie Pyman, just as well, he's not wearing that 70s hairdo because he'd be losing all his hair this afternoon. He's got a real headache at the moment.
James Gowans boots it inside 50. Wilson got a nudge from Thulis. Ball just foxed out. Justin Westhoff looking to dish off. O'Sullivan might kick forward for the corner.
He's had a real purple patch, O'Sullivan, hasn't he? But he's dangerous around forward line. South have just got to tighten up on him, because he's proven he's going to kick goals if he gets the footy. And James Gowan has had a excellent quarter too. Just got a lot of the footy, and a lot of it is important touches around the forward line, setting up goals. But O'Sullivan there again, he's deadly in front of goals today. And if you give him an inch, he's going to kick the goal there. Westhoff, good for a big man below his knees too. I really like how he plays the game, and he impresses me every time I see him.
43 points is the margin. Dogs are just reminding the competition they are here to play. Schooler, one hand, took it out of the ruck. McGlone overran it. Then he dived back on it. Now he's claimed and had to surrender it. Ware briefly. Cupido was dangerous in his pursuit of the ball, and he'll give away the free kick. And he'll go to Brad Curry. Curry will quickly try and get it forward. Instead, all he found was Smith for South. Look at the pressure though, the Dogs again. Hanby was high. Curry will take the mark in front of Cupido, and he'll line up again. Thomas goes long. Shells in the middle of that pack, so was Carlisle. Thumped it forward. They can run it now. Bishop, looping hand pass to Kruger. Almost lost it, did lose it. Bishop trying to soccer it out of there. Oh, he turned back into trouble as well. Oh, he's being harassed by the Dogs and then some. Wilson was clean in the pack. Lovely give. And now they get it forward, and Gowans takes the mark. Although he's wide out, you watch him centre it up in a hurry. James Gowans has a look, decides he'll go for goal. He swings it around, he'll go close, but he won't get there. Brett King was in the way.
He's having a pretty good quarter, James. Got a bit excited there, I think, maybe just out of his kicking distance. But they're pretty smart up forward, aren't they, Centrals? They're picking players. They got sharp hands. They're looking very dangerous in their forward 50.
10 possessions this quarter for James Gowans.
He's only kicked 13 goals for the year. Here's Westhoff, who's kicked a few, looking for that man O'Sullivan. And Clark was smart enough to get in the gap. Boy, they're not getting much out of their midfield. Their back line's under enormous pressure. Lovely kick by Clark to Hately, who just seems to be just thumping the ball away when it comes down there. They are under enormous pressure. The Dogs have put the foot down. Hately's kick, and it's marked by Sampson. So the skipper just slowing things down a bit. They haven't tried to flood or deny the footy to the Dogs. They've just tried to push forward South. Cupido and Curry. Curry did magnificently well against a quality opponent who had the slip on him to knock it away. Some of these guys from Central District they bring into the side. Brad Curry's one of them. Lovely family atmosphere here at
beautiful Elizabeth
territory. They're all quiet, sociable people out there in the stands.
They'll all be pretty happy with how things are going at the moment.
Couldn't be upset about anything. Bishop got his way to the front. McGlone, Archer, smart enough to get around onto his right boot and spear the kick, looking for Cupido. Hilgerson's there, taken by Hayes to the ground. Hilgerson just laying over the football. Curry wants a free kick, nothing doing. Ball up, deep in the heart of South Adelaide, attacking territory.
South got to work real hard here. They certainly need a goal before half time, so they're going to just try to whatever they can. But again, Central's just running the footy out.
Slade's kick is terrible. Smith got it away. Harry just sits it up high, hoping for a mark. Richard Cochran can't take it. Crumbs goes to Bennett. Bennett around his body to the square, but Hayes is good enough to take the mark for the Doggies.
She's got all the answers at the moment, the Dogs. Curry can drop it over to Ware. Outside 50. Option is to take off. Davey was on him. His kick was excellent. Found Thomas. Through the middle, he's got Schooler lurking. Goes there. Decides against it down the line instead, looking for Wilson perhaps. McCabe at the back. Sampson ducked the tackle. Play on Kenner. Now it comes to Davey. Davey can take off. He's got Archard with him. Archard decides to prop and wait. Ilgerson goes before he's set for his kick. So Archard squares it up. Now it comes to Bishop. Bishop then bombs inside, which is what I think they were trying to avoid. McGlone came across the front, couldn't take the mark. Slade looks up, decides the option's on in the middle. Delivery was perfect. James Gowans now has the option, left and right. He opts for the outer side of the ground. Away is Sibonala. Sibonala looking for Justin Westhoff on an enormous lead. He ran 80 metres to make that lead. Hately did well chasing him down. Now Smith inside with the kick high, and Sibonala will sit under it. And he'll take his time. This time you'd think he can drop it into Schooler, who came on a lead. No, he's opted against that. Decided not to go out the back either. And in the end, he went across to Gowans. James Gowans just taking his time as well. Can go back to Sibonala. Opts to go instead down the line. In short to Lee Westhoff. Patient build-up now by Central District. They've got control of the game and the ball at the moment. Lee Westhoff goes long looking for Wilson. Punch from Thulis. Justin Westhoff, ineffective punch. Well done by Parry. Had a bit of the ball this afternoon. Archard starting to gather possessions as well. Kenner and then Hanby. Hanby approaching 50. Could have bounced his way, but decided to go with the pass. Ilgerson pulled it down. No, he didn't. Play on, call the umpire. Central's a game with numbers. Will get it away.
And they do. Mackenzie to Thomas. Thomas cuts through the middle. Goodness me, Chris Gowans all on his own. Chris Gowans to half forward. Wilson won't take it. Shell just paddles in front. He's got Mussolino there. In goes Carlisle. Good work by Carlisle. Just boxed the kick out to Archard, who's hot. Got it away to Bishop. Bishop to Carlisle. They steady it down. The kick needs to be a little bit better than that. Alapati. And it's out of bounds, boundary front.
Michael, you just called Chris Mussolino. He's just come onto the ground for Luke McCabe, who got a whack on the beak. Plenty of blood coming out of the nose. He's just getting patched up by the medical staff now.
The other one there, so does too, is Warren just came back on and Cupido came off. So Warren's moved back up forward and Cupido's off at the moment.
Just seems to be that Ilgerson's the target. He's the go-to man.
Ilgerson sort of won out in the forward 50 there, trying to give him room, but at this stage it's not really working. Central's defence doing a good job.
This man doing a brilliant job as well, Wilson. He just keeps getting better and better. Schooler into some space. South just don't want to run, and Centrals do. Schooler kicks it long, hoping for a mark. Big pack, thumped away. Smith, just gave it to Clark, who was hot. Lucky South Adelaide to get out of that to Hanby. Archard, the handball to Kenner. Kenner's got to run. He needs support. He gets it from Bishop. Bishop thumps a real wobbler forward. And this is where they're breaking down. Their foot skills up forward are terrible. And a man lurking on the wing was Swatala, but it's a 25-metre penalty against Jared Bennett.
Swatala's got no one within 100 metres of him, I don't think. It's amazing out the other side of the ground. Now Warren's pushing over there.
Well, Warren pushed over, but of course that left Curry, and now Warren comes to meet Curry, and in the end Swatala's got the ball. Clark came to meet Swatala, and the overlap continues. Central's with the advantage. Mussolino on half forward now. Inside 50, stab, drilled pass, looking for Wilson, slid into the ball. Thulis is over him. Umpire says, wait on it. I'll throw the ball up, thank you very much. Wilbur Wilson, who would be Wilson's father, played, of course, for Centrals and was a leading goal kicker for them for 3 years, I think it might have been. So there is pedigree there for Wilson as O'Sullivan hits the ball towards goal, but it didn't make it. It was out of bounds in the end, and so at half-time the Dogs are very, very much in control of this match at Elizabeth. It's Central District 10-5-65, South Adelaide 3-4-22, a 43-point margin at half-time.
Welcome back to the SANFL 70s round, and as you can see there, O'Sullivan had a big quarter there for Central's, kicking 4 goals. The only multiple goal kicker for the day at the moment, and South had a very ordinary quarter, Neil.
Yeah, no doubt about that. 43 points the margin at half-time, and a question of how far Central's, we look through those stats.
The one that really stands out there is the bottom one, the centre breaks. Central's just absolutely dominating there, 10 to 2, and South not getting any drive out of their midfield at all that quarter, which really put their back lines under big pressure.
70s round, but we're back in fashion for this current time at the moment. So Sodas, and he's joining us on the boundary with his news from the rooms.
Yeah, Luke Cowan's the big story for Central. We saw in the first term he hurt his adductor. Now, I just had a chance to catch up with him, and he just started to run freely over the past week or so. He's had a cork thigh, he's had a shoulder problem, and during pre-season it was limited, certainly his pre-season, because of back problems. So just when he was coming good, he's jagged his adductor. Probably a month on the sidelines, which is bad news for Central. Justin Westhoff really benefits by having Cowan up there. Westhoff then normally gets the third defender behind Shell and also Cowan. He's managed to kick 25 goals in 10 games, Westhoff, so he's been terrific this year. He'll certainly take on more responsibility with Cowan now out for up to a month. Now, the other injury concern for Central that we'd like to update you about is Nathan Steinburner, the skipper. He's had shoulder problems all year and calf problems. He did hurt his shoulder again last week in the twos, and that is it for the season for the skipper. So not good news for him. And here's Michael Maney with the start of the second half.
Straight into it. South need a couple of quick ones. That's an understatement. Smith kicks long. They'll kick with the breeze at the moment. Warren can't take the mark. Over the top, Bishop. Could this be a dream start for South? I think it might be. Bishop kicks the first, and we've ticked into 20 seconds of the third term. They'll kick with that breeze, Chiggy, but I tell you what, they need that and follow it up with another couple.
Absolutely, and they have got that breeze, but that's what they've got to do. All out attack from here. They've got to win the footy. Bishop read it over the back of the pack. And again, a class player, he's going to hurt you if he gets hold of the footy, but they've just got to keep running now. That's what they dropped off in that second quarter. Every time they get the footy, they've got to play on quickly and put Central under pressure.
37 points the margin in the blink of an eye, down by a goal. Here's Schooler in the middle.
Back in the centre, taken by Archard. Kenner. Just a foot race. King. They're looking okay at the moment, South Adelaide. No one can take it. Parry tries to crash through. Mackenzie. Handball over the top. Slade. In comes Kenner. Hemmed in on the boundary line. Squares it up to Warren. Can't take the mark. Crashed the pack. Ball player down. Might be Cochran. Here's Ware. He's in a bit of trouble too. I think it is Richie Cochran. The mark taken by Thomas. And it goes away to Ware.
Elijah Ware takes his time, squares up the ball again. They're just looking for a gap in that defensive posture of South Adelaide now. They've found one. Switala can come to Chris Gowans down the line. Gowans can take off. He's not being pursued by anybody. Can take a couple of bounces here. Can still keep running. They run away from him rather than coming to him. Goes for Shell. Shell couldn't take it. At the back, O'Sullivan gave it to Shell. And he went backwards, gave it to O'Sullivan eventually, who said, thanks very much. On court now. We'll get a ball up.
At least in that situation there, you saw the South players, they stayed with their men rather than getting dragged forward to Gowans running forward, which we saw that second quarter where it created an opportunity for Centrals just to go to the man over the top. Didn't happen.
Clever by the Gowans players. Wilson into an open goal, and they get the reply.
Again, got the stoppage in the forward line by South, but not going to the players. But again, Central's too good around the stoppages there. Wilson just running into an open goal there. The Gowans boys certainly being dangerous up there again. James once again carrying on from a very good second quarter. Over to Chris, and then Wilson just running into an open goal. They've certainly got to stop the Gowans boys. James is having a great game today, especially up forward, just creating plenty of opportunities.
Just quickly, scores from other grounds at half-time. North Adelaide at Prospect against Norwood. The Redlegs up by 28 points, and the Eagles by 29 over West Adelaide. Down at Woodville.
We'll be at Norwood next week. So love going to the parade. You're right on top of the action there. Terrific. South have been challenged. A quick reply by the Dogs. Handball out toward McGlone. McGlone's wobbly old left footer. Cochrane up and running again. Bishop's got him. Tackles into the ground. Davey just got a flying boot there. Just caught it on his midriff there, but he's okay. And another bounce.
I think Robbie Pyman got into his midfielders. They've run every centre break this quarter so far after a very poor second quarter.
They just need to run, and they need to go through this man who can run. Archer around the body. Will it curl back? It won't. It drifts away for a behind.
Yeah, that's the key, Michael, for sure. Plenty of run, just plenty of attack and pressure around the footy there. And they've shown good signs early in this quarter.
Robbie Pyman looking to add some potency up forward. He's now got Parry playing around half forward, so Brett King's doing all the ruck work.
McKenzie couldn't pull it down. Hayes, though, did the roving. Slade took his time. Schooler, the runner, centre wing, decides to go long, looking for McCabe. McCabe got rid of his man and Clark way too easily. Haley breaks through. Head pass was partially smothered, knocked away. Archer now flanking him, Thulis. Seen much of Thulis this afternoon. King drops it in wide. Kruger in a bit of space. If he can just get the bounce, he does. Slade will be shepherded away. Kruger's kick into centre half forward wasn't the greatest. Kenner couldn't rove it. Now it's knocked out to him. Kenner off the right foot. Not a bad kick. Gives Bishop half a chance. Almost took a full chance. Bishop taking the ground now. Wait on the umpire. He'll come in and he'll decide to ball it up. Matthew Bishop as a forward, that's interesting.
Yep. I was just about to say Bishop up there. I think he can be very dangerous up there. What's allowed Bennett to go back to centre half back as well. I think Bishop could give him some potency up there.
Parry got in under O'Sullivan, now it's trapped in under him. Umpire will come in again and get another stop play. Chris Gowans slow to his feet.
James, don't say that.
James, in fact, Gowans, slow to his feet. Schooler flipped it over the back. O'Sullivan overran it, went back, picked it up and was properly sat upon. Get another ball up, 3 in a row.
Top ball getters in the first half for the Dogs. James Gowans with 19, including 13 in the second quarter. Slade also 19 and Chad O'Sullivan 16. For the Panthers, Stephen Kenner 16, Reece Archer 15 and Clay Sampson 14.
Creeps up on you, Archer, a bit. Taken by Kruger. Got some late touches in that term. Kruger kicks. Oh, lovely mark. Taken by Parry. Has he given away a free kick? Someone's given away a free kick in the middle of that. Bit of a nudge somewhere, and Cochrane's going to get it. Let's have a look at this. Jiggy, what do you think?
Well, it must have been before we saw that because it didn't look like there was a lot there. Not a lot.
McCabe, who went off in the second term with a bit of blood streaming from the nose. Well, Justin Westhoff just took it a little bit too easy. He went back and tackled Haley, who dropped the football. Well done, young man. He made a mistake, but he went straight back on with it. Got it to Lee Westhoff, his brother. Kicks high. Shell's got 2 to beat. Planting himself was King. Crumbs go to Slade. Ducked the head. Foxed it out. Looking for Gowans. Away to James from Chris. The kick looking for Shell. Loose ball taken by Kruger. Carlisle stood, delivered, and thumped it about 55 metres to the wing. Curry couldn't hold on to the football. Back in on it again. Thulis is there. Stalemate. And there's Ben Nagel, who's got a problem.
Yeah, I don't know. There looks like it might be a corky or something. He's not in a good way, that's for sure. He's not moving real well at the moment. Surprised if he stays on with that. Looks like he's going to be coming off.
All on the outer side of the ground. Swatala to Curry. Quick hands, precise. O'Sullivan booted 4 in the second term. Purple patch for him. He kicks forward at the back. Smith taken by McCabe. This is where they're so good. McCabe wearing number 11 in this term. Taken by Slade. Slade will amble in and drill another one home for the Bullies. Oh, they are bullying South Adelaide at the moment. And there's Nagel coming off. We'll have a look at the pain that he's in. It's too good. No stretcher job, so they're just helping from the ground.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a muscle strain or whether he got a knock there. It'll be interesting to see there. I think here we go. Oh, didn't look like he landed too well there, so that doesn't look good for Nagel, that's for sure.
a knee.
Chiggy, his day's gone from bad to worse. He was, of course, minding Chad O'Sullivan in that second term. O'Sullivan was absolutely dynamic up forward for Central. It does look like a knee problem there, and we'll keep an eye on Benny Nagel.
Secondary bounce in the middle. 48 points the margin in favour of the home side. Things have changed since the 70s at Elizabeth. The dominant side in the competition. South has barely challenged them this afternoon. Here's Sampson though at half forward, the South Adelaide captain. He went back to Kruger and then wide he goes again through Sampson into the middle corridor. And a good mark taken. Pulled down by Archard, one of the shortest players on the ground. And that has been lacking for South Adelaide this afternoon. Marks inside 50.
Certainly has, but I think Parry moving forward there, so he's giving the South players the confidence to get it in quick and long. We saw him nearly take a good mark before, but Archie pulled that one in.
Archard spends a couple of mornings a week riding track work at Morfordville. Drops that goal over the umpire's head, no problems at all. South Adelaide get one back, but it's badly needed, and they badly need maybe 6 or 7 more. As we just look again at how Nagel was injured, and
that left knee there, I think, or he just landed and went back underneath and didn't look good at all. A bad way there.
On his way to the rooms.
Not a good sight if you're a Panther supporter or a football supporter in general, really. You hate to see those things happening to players, but more and more the game quickens up. Although that wasn't a result of the game being quick, that's just unfortunate. Back in the centre, taken by King for South Adelaide. Cochrane working extremely hard this afternoon, Richie Cochrane. Leading this foot race is Smith. He'll need a shepherd from Kenner. He got one to McGlone. Needs to squeeze the kick down the line to Hanby. Was he pushed in the back? No free kick. Working in confined space was O'Sullivan. Slade, tackled. Got rid of it to O'Sullivan, who wriggled out of a tackle. Well played, O'Sullivan. His kick was meant for Wilson, but ended up with McCabe. McCabe will kick it and look for Shell. On the lead, Shell's got it. They worked it nicely, did the Bulldogs. And Daniel Shell unselfishly goes to Westhoff lead. And that's not 25, I don't think. It was borderline, but Carlisle, just a bit of physical contest and then contact on Westhoff. He'll kick from 47.
Interesting one there. Shell's your key forward. We mentioned earlier his accuracy's not brilliant. Probably might be a confidence thing looking to pass it off there, but you'd imagine normally your key forward to go back and kick that.
Lee Westhoff's got one in the second term. He's kicked 10 for the year. This to take it back out to 48 points. Will it carry the pack? I think it has. It's a goal. The big tentacles of Bennett went up, but it had gone through. There's Nagel, a sorry state as they are taking him to the South rooms. What does this mean for South Adelaide? They've just lost a key midfielder, a tagger, and their vice-captain.
Well, it certainly can't help their causes, that's for sure, but I think they've got more problems than that at the moment anyway, and Jared Bennett, I think, thought he probably marked that one on the line back there as well, but this rain's starting to settle in too now. That's going to be in favour of Central District.
They're bulldozing their way out of the middle through O'Sullivan. Back to Switala, down to half forward. Clark got a hand on it, slid into the ball. McGlone, drop it in short. He does to Kruger. Half volley wasn't the best. Looked to be taken high. Dogs swarm around and they get it away. Wilson back to Ware. Ware drops it inside 50. Looking for Shell. Almost pulled it down. Well done by Smith and Carlisle. Carlisle wants to release it by hand and he does to Clark. McGlone. Kenner running through the centre square. Archard in space now. Can go long. Warren, his man in Sibonala slipped and Warren should have taken that mark. The ball slipped through his hands out the back. Sibonala capitalising. Goes up the line. Umpire will say that's fair enough. It would have been in 1970 and it is now.
It's nearly deliberate, but yeah, Warren did everything right. Got in front, but just let that footy behind him slip through. There's that bit of rain starting to have an effect already, making the ball a bit slippery.
Central's coming into this game. Their worst quarter was their second quarter, yet they kicked 7 goals to 1 over South Adelaide in the second quarter this afternoon. Statistically, the third quarter is their best performing of the year, so that's pretty scary if you're a Panthers fan again. Sibonala with the mark in the back pocket.
Sibonala has had the job on Warren all day and he's fixed him up. You'd have to say that. He's got to come back and take his kick and kick over the mark, or is it 25-metre penalty against Warren? Nice bit of rainbow there. Where's that leading to, Tig?
Well, I don't think Prospect Oval, the way they're travelling at the moment.
South Adelaide would like to get their hands on that treasure chest. Might help them pay that 50 grand they've got to pay off.
Do the crime, do the time.
Yes, that's true. 14 minutes gone, Robbie Pyman. I don't think he'd like too much what he's seen for most of this match, but they started off okay with Bishop kicking a goal. There's Cochrane taking a well-earned spell down there, Sodas.
He has been magnificent, Richie Cochrane, back in today after a hamstring problem. Chris Muzzolino's replaced him. He's going down to pick up Elton Davey, who's loitering around on his own at the moment in the forward line.
Good to see Mark Soderson with an old Bulldogs umbrella on with down there. Bennett. Just got it away to King. King's short kick to McGlone, who loves to run forward. He's got Haitley moving for him. Decides to chip it to right, just in time. Griffin almost got there. Right, just held up for a second or two. The lovely goal in the second term. Right, he kicked it short, and it's marked by Thulis. There's another ruck change down there. Big King off, Sodas.
He is. Cupido's come onto the ground, so he'll go forward, and Parry will be released from half forward, and he'll go into the ruck now for the Panthers.
Interesting, they're interchanging Warren and Cupido. But Thulis has got to kick this, the former Sydney Swan listed player, from just outside 50. Gives it a ride. It's a good long kick. Hit straight. Good kick by Thulis for a goal. And the Panthers get their 5th of the afternoon. 6th, I should say. 6 goals. Goals to Bishop and Archer, now Thulis.
They've certainly picked up the tempo. No doubt about that. But again, just Central zoning off a bit there. Thulis has been able to get in a bit of space and finish off with a goal. They've lifted their work rate. You've got to take your hat off to Central, though. They just keep building and building. They all, the last couple of years, have had slow starts to the year, but build as they get closer to the finals. They're still going to be a force come finals time.
Central, or rather South Adelaide, on the other hand, they seem to fall apart when the word finals are mentioned. They haven't played in the finals since 1992. Last season, boy, they dropped away badly in the second half of the season. Carlisle with a big thump away. Elijah Ware swooping on it. Hand pass was wide and inaccurate at the same time. Now comes to Shell. Hand pass option was on. Daniel Shell says, I think I can kick this one. Advanced towards the goals and finished it off.
The umpire didn't look real, the goal umpire didn't look real confident there. He had him running anyway, but Daniel Shell just needs to get a couple of goals on the run there. Probably better for him. Get his confidence up. Great hands out there by Ware. Heard the voice. Again, Central's inside their 50. They're very good with their hands. Obviously, a lot of talk out there from around their teammates. They don't have to see the player. They can hear the voice. They give it, and they've been very damaging today inside 50 with the quick hands and finishing off with goals.
Back to 48 points, the difference. Daniel Shell's second. He booted 3 last week. He kicks a lot of points, Daniel Shell. 26-23 before coming into this game. He's got 2-2 this afternoon. Griffin knocked it down. Hanby just about leads the competition in handballs. Taken by Gowans James. Kicks long, looking for Gowans Chris. Thulis did okay. Gowans went to ground. Kruger squeezes a kick out. No one to kick to. Will it find touch? Boundary umpire says on the full. So Kruger, man, getting his boot to ball. Free kick to be taken by McCabe. 17.5 gone. 48 points the difference. Griffin, who's had to step up in this match and play a role with Cowan. Another tall being off. He boots it long. Dealt with after he kicked it. Oh, just about one-handed from Wilson. Good enough to get a handball. A fired out 1-2 to Curry. Curry looks for Shell. Over the back, Chris Gowans. Paddles in front. Tried to go off the ground. Carlisle. Thulis. To right, back to McGlone. Panthers out of trouble. Long lead by Parry. McCabe just fell okay for Parry in the middle of that pack. Taken by Clark, over the top to Parry, who kept working. This man, Davey, can go. He's got Cupido. Cupido, he may just kick it from here. Has a bounce. Oh, he's got the staggers, Damien. He decides to chip it short to Archard. One grab, two. Umpire said play on. Didn't hold it. Mussolino got a hand on it. Good umpiring. Ball up. 45 metres out, directly in front.
Yeah, Cupido nearly got himself into a bit of trouble there, but enough class to get out of it, and nearly a bit of hanging on there.
McKenzie knocks it down, Swatala, so Central's too easy. South Adelaide's forwards just not working hard enough this afternoon. In fact, the Panthers just haven't run to space. That's a key to their game, their ability to run. Slade looks for Westhoff, can't take the mark. Big Griffin, oh, just clean bowled him, took his middle stump out. Taken by Hanby. Hanby to Archard. Archard, who's getting a few kicks. It's a slippery ball, it's not bouncing up too well. Cupido found that. They're starting to slip and slide out there. The rain's gone, but a free kick will go to South Adelaide. It'll go to Clark. And that man there needs a Panadol.
He summed it up there with that little shake of his head, I think, Robbie Palmer. He's having a hard day in the office.
Warren couldn't take the mark. Bishop swooped on it from the boundary, squared it up, didn't do a bad job. Centrals, though, bursting through was Gowans. In space now, comes for Wilson. Wilson will want to go back through the middle corridor, you'd think. It's all crowded up with South players, so he goes down the line, just puts it out there for Justin Westhoff. Bounce was kind for Smith. Now he could square it. Parry puts his hand up. Parry quickly off to McGlone, running off the half-back flank. He'll get a shepherd from Thulis. He didn't really need it. He was too quick. They get it to Clark. Clark looked around, thought, where do I go now? And that's what the Dogs do so well. They're organised. Have a look at that. Out wide they go. Swatala has got acres of space to work with. Can take a bounce or two, or three perhaps. Let's have a look as Swatala goes towards centre wing. He cuts into the corridor, makes a mistake as well. Turns it over to Parry for South Adelaide. Parry now called to play on. Of course, he goes by hand. They have more handballs than any other side in the SANFL, South Adelaide. Ball dropped down by foot in front of Warren. He couldn't take it in. Thomas is back there. Thomas for Centrals, turns around, decides to go back defensively, inside forward, inside his defensive 50, I should say. Hayes has got plenty of room to move, and Chris Gowans, or James Gowans, I should say, is through the middle again with plenty of room.
One of the Gowans boys, Neil, as James has got it and goes short. Did it go 15? Umpire said yes. McKenzie's got it in front of a zoning off Bennett. McKenzie, this is Wilson's going to go at the back, Bishop. Curry just casually just runs it out of bounds. Good experience play by Brad Curry, who's played in the premiership last year for the Dogs.
Saw Bishop was up forward there for the first half of that quarter. Looks like he's come back again now. So Robbie Palmer just throwing the team around a bit.
Free kick to Parry. It'll come back to the big man for over the shoulder, or it's going to Griffin.
And the other way. But Parry again gives him a lot more when he's in ruck and around ground rather than up forward, I think.
And Parry's run over the mark, and this will be a 25.
Pretty much sums up South's day. That was just a bit undisciplined there by the big man.
I don't know whether Griffin can get the journey here. I reckon he'll be looking to dish it off somewhere, and there'll be a Gowans or two figuring in this, although Thomas is lurking for a handball in behind. You can see him there just thinking about it. Griffin, it's a good-looking kick. It's a great kick from Griffin. What a goal!
That is a fantastic leg. I didn't think he had a hope of getting that the distance there, because it's into that bit of a breeze, even though it looks like it has dropped off a bit. But that's, well, the big fella, that is a lovely kick. Outside 50 where he kicked it. And that is a lovely kick for goal. Certainly cleared the pack easily there. So Central's just go on with it, and certainly looking pretty damaging and dangerous going forward from here.
Jiggy, nice way for him to bring up his first goal in SANFL footy.
Jonathan Griffin, originally East Fremantle in the WAFL, an Adelaide rookie, upgraded this season to the list. Wilson screws it around. Chris Gowans decided to play on, speared the pass under the arms of Kruger and straight into the arms of Daniel Shell.
Wilson's had a great game today. I think he's just very damaging when he gets hold of the footy. Very rarely wastes a possession.
Quite What a contrast in the days of the full forwards as Warren takes his place on the bench and Daniel Shell lines up, and he's had a lot of opportunities, unlike Ben Warren, and he's wasted a few as well, like that one.
I wonder how much goal kicking practice Daniel Shell does do. He may just overdo it. Chiggy, who knows? He doesn't seem to have something. See a lot of players who mark it step by step, mark it back out. He just seems to wander back and then fire up and have a shot.
Big confidence thing, and when he's missed a couple early, it certainly puts the pressure on him for during the game. If he can get that first or second goal, then he can go in with a bit of confidence, but he's certainly lost his confidence today.
No lack of confidence from Richie Cochrane, who goes to Shell again.
If you give him enough opportunities, I'm sure he's going to get one, and he's getting plenty of opportunities at the moment, and dead in front, 35-40 out.
Well, he's had plenty of shots for goal. He's kicked 2 goals, 3. He's going to give it off, and it may come unstuck, and it has. The mark's been paid to Archer.
And again, classic example of a forward. He doesn't want to kick a goal at the moment. He's scared to go back and have a go. He's looking to pass it off. Should never in that situation pass off from a key forward.
It's unusual. He's won Ken Farmer medals, etc. He's just seems to be quite unbelievable. He doesn't want to take a kick. But anyway, they're getting plenty of the ball. Taken by Archer, who looks for Bennett, who's in the long sleeves in this term. It falls okay to Haitley. Haitley thinking about kicking it short to Cupido. No, goes over his head. I'll go all the way to Ilgerson, who's just going to sneak around to kick a goal. And Ilgerson's been the man they've gone to this afternoon, and he's kicked another one for them.
That just shows you that example of Shell going back and just trying to pass it off. Gives South the opportunity there. They make the most of it now. Run the footy from one end of the ground to the other. And Haitley had a pretty quiet day, I would say, but I think he was certainly looking for that pass there. Finished off with the goal there. Ilgerson very much needed by South Adelaide. They just got to back themselves, keep running, can't throw the towel in here, got to have a real dip.
Well, at the time on in the third quarter, 49 points the margin. Dogs well in control. McCabe taking an tackle. McCabe wearing number 11 now, obviously changed Guernseys as a result of that nose being plastered all over his face. Both got each other. In the quarter. Clears the ball now, forward. Cochrane. Inside he goes to Westhoff. Westhoff is flanked by Ware. It's a procession. 48 metres out. Elijah Ware hits the post. Three-quarter time. We've got some highlights of that Norwood Central game last week. Norwood getting home by 2 points in a controversial finish. Siren going a bit early, and then they continued on and played the last 6 seconds or thereabouts.
Centrals have trouble with Siren. Didn't the train blow this whistle out here a few seasons ago? South go forward. Here's Sampson. He may just have to get around Cochrane. He does. Has he kicked the goal? No, left it narrow. Well, they just don't seem to have had the toe this afternoon, the pace, the will to run into space, South.
And that's what we thought would win the game for them, and they certainly haven't done that. And probably lacked a real target up forward. You can see up forward, sorry, Bennett is up there again now trying to provide a target, but no one's really done that successfully today.
Plenty of applause just moments ago for Jonathan Griffin coming up from the ground. Spent a lot more time in the ruck than usual. Paul Sculler has now come on to take his spot.
McCabe with the defensive mark inside 50, takes his time, looks around. Mackenzie wanders off to his right, and eventually you'd think he'd go there. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just take his time. And he does. And eventually goes for Curry. Curry's under a bit of pressure, but takes a nice mark in front of Hanby. And Curry now gets up, can go short, and does, and goes wide for Thomas. Not the greatest of disposals. The Chinese from Beijing. They don't speak a word of English apparently, and they are in fact enjoying their first game of Australian football this afternoon, and you wouldn't be blamed if you were that group of people saying, what the hell is going on?
Saw Mark Soderstrom having a real good chat with them there earlier. They don't speak a word of English. I can't understand that.
McCabe taking to ground. We get another ball up. Well, I'm reliably informed that by my producer, but if you're wrong, Paul Chadwick, thank you very much.
Ball up. 28 minutes gone in the third term. Bit too long for a siren. Hayes collected high as he came through. It's been a handy pickup from this bloke. He's off to hide out of the side. Hayes has slotted to that back line beautifully. McCabe goes to Wilson. Got a good bounce, then lost it. Cochrane, who's just kept at it all day. Everything he's done today has touched goal. So too this man O'Sullivan. Carlisle, big thump over the back. Crumbs, Chris Gowans. Oh, that's clever. To Shell, that's not clever. Over the top. Ware may make it look good. Sits it up. Will it float through? It goes across the face for a behind. Centrals by 50 points. Terrific effort there. Roy Laird happy with proceedings this afternoon. They've been right on top of their game and they love playing at the Ponderosa.
They've used it well this afternoon against a side renowned for pace and skill and using the ball. Well, at least overusing the ball. Gowan's boys bit of changing just at the moment as Centrals spring the ball in defence. Paul Thomas hasn't had his best afternoon. Off the left leg that time, out of bounds on the full. Chris Gowans just taking the seat. James Gowans coming onto the ground. Free kick to Bennett on the far side.
Just when James Gowans came off moments ago before this change here, he had plenty to say to Chris about him not working backwards when South had the ball there, but when they changed there, the Twins very quiet, just a slight look at each other.
They have some interesting, from what I'm told, some interesting domestics, shall we say. Some Gowans boys, they enjoy an argument. In fact, they'll argue with anybody, they'll argue with the umpires, they'll argue with teammates, but they get the job done, and Centrals have certainly got the job done this afternoon. At three-quarter time, the Bulldogs leading by 50 points, 15-8-98 to 7-6-48.
Yeah, that 50-point margin certainly spells out what's been happening today on the Central's ovals. I think their Central District's very much in commanding position. They deserve to be. They've been working really hard. The Gowans boys have been fantastic. Wilson's shown a lot today. I think he's been great. And Shell's been damaging up forward in the sense of providing a great target, but probably he's let himself down a little bit with his goal kicking.
Well, they've won their past 6 at Elizabeth against South Adelaide, but they come into this match, the Centrals boys, having lost 2 in a row, which is exceptional, really, for a side that's won 5 of the last 6 grand finals. As we look at what happened last week against Norwood, and gee, the Redlegs just hung in there, and I know Roy Laird said that last week's match they lost by 2 points. They didn't take their opportunities.
Yeah, well, Norwood are obviously in a bit of form. We hear today that they're beating North Adelaide, or they were beating North Adelaide. Centrals are in great form as well, so it's just an interesting game. I think for Norwood to win that close game against the past Premier is a fantastic effort. Centrals can from time to time drop their game off and lose the odd game like that, but they've bounced straight back today and been very, very damaging.
Yes, on this match, Norwood just showing that they do have a game plan. Under Trevor Hill in his first season, Jamie Vlatko important for them up forward. He's found a bit of form, kicked a few goals last week, and they have found a plan.
That's right, Vlatko gives them a real target up forward. He probably hasn't consistently kicked bags, but he's kicked his couple of bags of 5 or 6 goals this year and been a real target for him up there. I think Norwood will be a team that are going to be very much pushing for that final 5 spot, and this was a very, very important win for them.
Now here's the controversy as McCabe kicks a goal, and very soon after this we're going to see the final few moments of the game. And here it is, if you listen intently, the siren goes, celebrations for the Norwood players. They think they've won it. The umpires are then told that the timekeepers have in fact made a mistake, and the siren for some reason, and we still haven't got an explanation from the SANFL as to why the siren was blown early. And then we count through this, and there's 5 or 6 seconds left, and eventually there it goes again, and this time they're satisfied they've actually got the victory, and off they go. So the final result was a 2-point victory for Norwood. Stuart Cochrane and the Gowans boys prepared to argue the toss with the umpires there. Colin Rouston, the one getting roused on.
Bit of confusion there, there's no doubt about that. But Norwood getting up by that couple of points, which was a very big win for them in their context of their season, trying to get that spot in the 5.
No doubt about that. As I mentioned, Jamie Vlatko kicking 5 goals. We look at the Central District huddle with Roy Laird chatting away to his boys. He'd be very satisfied, I guess, with the way they've bounced back this afternoon Other side of the coin, South Adelaide there. Robbie Pyman's got some work to do. Mark Soderstrom, you've been listening in.
Very quiet huddle over here at South Adelaide. Robbie Pyman said to his boys, look, you're battling for 5th spot. You want to play finals football. The brand of football he's showing today won't get you anywhere in that. He said it's about pride, it's about respect. So he's looking for a big effort from his boys in this final term. They have certainly struggled under the pressure of the Central District Bulldogs today. Benny Nagel, now we saw him go off the ground. The problem is actually with the ankle. We had a couple of looks at that particular incident. Looked like it was his knee, but we've had to confirm that it is an ankle injury that he has done. So he'll certainly be assessed this evening just to work out how bad that actually is.
Well, we talked about South Adelaide being fined 50 grand during the week for some salary cap breaches, but the other thing of interest that's happened, of course, is across at one of your old clubs at Sturt, where Brenton Phillips has indicated he won't coach beyond this season.
Yeah, there has been a little whisper going around for the last couple of weeks that Brenton will hand in the resignation at the end of the season and not look for a extension of his contract, put down to family and work commitments. So, look, he's been a wonderful coach for them. He took them to the flag in 2002, of course, as people know. So he's certainly a part of history at the club. But what he has done also is blooded a big group of youngsters over the time he's there. None more than this year. Lots of 16, 18, 19-year-olds are now playing for Sturt. What they need now is a coach perhaps who will educate and also communicate well with that particular group. So it's a pretty crucial decision they need to make when they do select their coach. I suppose, Chiggy, you've gone through the process with the board at Glenelg last year with Micken. What sort of things do you think Sturt will be looking to do?
Well, you've pretty much summed it up there, I think so. And I think it's a good call by Brenton Phillips to actually make the decision now. It gives the club plenty of time to get out into the market, see who's available. Obviously, Brody Atkinson's there at the coaching the twos. He's shown that he's keen to do that, but they really want to have a good look around. You need a communicator, you need a teacher, as you said, so especially with so many kids in that team.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And the 2002 grand final, of course, the highlight for Brenton Phillips. But look, you can't sum up his time at Sturt without saying, bang, a week later after the grand final, you get the terrible disaster of Bali. And that obviously adversely affected this group of players.
Absolutely. The highs and lows in that 2002 season was just huge for Sturt. And I think that has affected them over the last few years.
Well, nothing seems to affect Central District. They're on the march. They're leading by 50 points at three-quarter time. Here's Michael Maney with the final quarter.
Let's hope that South Adelaide can do something about this. They've only won 5 last quarters this year, whereas the Doggies have won 8, and they'd go into this last quarter full of confidence with a 50-point lead. South haven't won coming off a bye this year, so not looking good for them. In round 2 they were beaten. In round 9 they just failed against the Eagles. And looking down the barrel in this match as Gowans kicks to half forward. The mark's been taken by Wilson, who's a good player. Wilson with that left boot, looking for McCabe. He's got to fly. Carlisle, he's done a lot of punching away today. Chris Gowans ducked the head. Umpire said play on. Parry couldn't find McGlone. Thulis in there. Well done, Archard. Got it away to McGlone. McGlone's kick is all right and marked by Smith at half-back. Matthew Smith with that arm guard on, and the 25-metre penalty against Wilson, who didn't come back on the mark. Umpire Doddridge. Umpires decked out in their 70s gear with the sleeves. Rolled his sleeves up today, Craig Doddridge. Has that done him any good, Nick? You love the umpires? You think
I
they're
love
terrific?
the umpires. They've done a good job, I think, today. They certainly haven't been affected with the result anyway.
McGlone's kick finds the ample chest of Gerard Bennett, the former Tasmanian from Glenorchy. Gerard Bennett originally. Long kick. Big pack of players. Lee Westhoff knocked it down. Thomas. Gowans over the top looking for Sutala. Ran out of real estate. Boundary throw in. Pretty sedate start to the last term.
Yeah, I was about to say the body language from South doesn't look brilliant, does it? They haven't come out pumped up to have a real go here, it doesn't look like. So they need to get a lift early in this quarter just to keep working hard and try to get some respect from the game.
O'Sullivan quickly on the foot, but not quick enough. Again, all just over that boundary line.
The top ball getters in the first 3 quarters for the Dogs. Matthew Slade had 26, James Gowans 24, Chad O'Sullivan 23 and Chris Gowans 19. For the Panthers, Reece Archard 26, Stephen Kennett 22, 19 each to Clay Sampson and Craig Parry.
And they do lose, South. They lose big. lost 2 in a row coming into this. They lost to Glenelg by 42 and North Adelaide by 48. So that'll be holding the ball, surely. Thorless just couldn't get a disposal there. He had the sleeper hold on him, Justin Westhoff. Free kick down to half forward, looks for Wilson, opposed to Bishop. Good matchup now for South. Kruger inside, he goes to McGlone. McGlone takes his time, kicks long, back to centre wing. Looking for Haitley, he went up early, looked to have gotten the back of Westhoff. Right, tackle without the ball, surely. No, out of bounds.
Have you seen Justin Westhoff's game? I think this may be, if he doesn't kick a goal, perhaps the first game that he hasn't kicked a goal in.
Yeah, I think he's had a pretty quiet one, to be honest. He's shown a little bit in patches, but it's certainly not the best game I've seen him play.
4 marks, 7 kicks, 4 handballs.
Archard was in there, got a slick hand pass out, and now Kenner just runs away. Thomas did his best to chase him down. Kenner goes high towards the goal square. Mussolino across, and then McKenzie tackled well by Davey, who couldn't benefit by picking up the crumb all over the boundary line.
Bobby Palmer's continued to rotate his forward line. Bennett's gone back to the forward line again. Also got Cupido on there. It's allowed Bishop to go back again.
Taken here by Wright. Was he caught by the leg? No. Throwing himself forward to Mussolino. Quick handball out there, Hayes. Davies got him. You've got to be quick to get away from Alwyn Davey. Throws himself on the football. Could have won a free kick if he was on the wing, but he's right in front of the goal.
There were probably a couple of free kicks that could have possibly been paid there, but I think the umpire did the right thing by letting the play go on.
Shane Harris's job in a lot of bother here at the moment. Nick Chigwidden. Taken by James Gowans. Sibanala, just a dinky little kick to Thomas. Thomas, normally terrific on delivery, this time no exception to the big man in Schooler. Between the wing and half back, Schooler just rocks around on the right boot. Long kick, Thurles went early, thumped away by Haitley. He'll have his knuckles bruised this afternoon, taken by Wilson, who got it to Slade. Chris Gowans has got to go with a flight. Courageous effort over the back, Carlisle. Spills to Smith. Smith kicks us. Oh, just squeezed it out to Haitley. Haitley over the top to Bishop. Bishop's got no one to kick too long. He's got to go short to Clark. Clark goes down the line looking for Bennett. Can't take it. McKenzie couldn't keep it in. Boundary throw in. Lovely shot of Elizabeth Oval, and we've had a bit of rain in the last, overnight. This ground has really soaked it all in, Chiggy. It's in good nick.
It is a good nick. It can cope with the rain. It's a big oval. It's probably a lot better place to be playing today's game than rather than at Noarlunga. I'd imagine it'd be a bit colder and wetter down there.
I'd imagine so. Kenner. Fox to handball out to Bishop. Has he done enough to win a spot back in the power? Taken by Thurles. Over the top to Archard. The possession number 27 coming up for Reece Archard. He kicks long, looking for and not finding Ilderson. It's marked by Mussolino, who they just keep on finding. These young players who can step into the breach, Jiggy, can't they?
It makes it a bit easier for them too, stepping into a team with the experience that they've got. They're winning the game easily, so they've got the confidence to attack the footy. So it's a great environment for a young player to come into.
Harry shook off the challenge of Ware, dropped it in short. Handy did go short as well to Clark. Clark flanked by Wright, decided to go long for Ilgerson. Ball to ground, Bennett did the roving, wanted to get it around the corner towards Cupido. He succeeded in doing that, but then it's come straight back to him. And that was over the boundary line. And the boundary umpires as well in that circa 1975 gear. Look at that shirt open. Business shirt, really. Shorter than usual shorts this afternoon as well. McKenzie nicely down to Gowans, got one high. Chris Gowans will go back and take the free kick. James just comes in and says, leave my brother alone. I can argue with him, but you can't. Chris Gowans, 3 votes against South Adelaide in round 12 last year in the McGarry medal. Mike's playing well against South Adelaide, obviously.
Apparently played with some gaffer tape on his mouth that day. Neil?
Swatala, wide he goes, Mussolino. Down the line, player in space, O'Sullivan. Had a good afternoon, has O'Sullivan. Inboard he goes, Sibanala, towards half forward. Long and high kick. Shell on the lead, brought it to the front, followed up, couldn't get it. Parry, quickly to Archard, then to Davey. Davey's got runners with him. One of them's Kenner. He burned off a couple of chasers. Went long inside forward 50. McKenzie had the better of Bennett. Well done.
Well, he had Ilgerson in space, decided to go to Bennett, and McKenzie did terrific work, taken by Swatala. Swatala just ambles away. Cupido not running to him. He's only had 4 kicks and 1 handball this afternoon, Damien Cupido. Taken by Westhoff. Westhoff's kick finds Wilson. Wilson wants to go on with it quickly. On a lead, Shell. Those big arms can't haul it in. Taken by Davey. Thulis across half-back. Quite know where to go. Davey provided some run. So too this man in Clark, who's been well down also. Haley's about to get caught by Ware. Got the kick away. McKenzie struggling with Bennett over the back. Mussolino just too easy. It's a little bit like some of the witches' hats out there at the minute, taken by Swatala, who kicks looking for Wilson over the back. Wilson's got to go and track it again. Good effort by Smith to dive on the footy. Gowan's got it away to Lee Westhoff. Off a step, he'll look for Shell. Carlo at the front, but Shell! He wriggled around and took a lovely chest mark. And will he have a shot for goal? That's a big question.
Well, he's got it from here, doesn't he? Like, they're up by 50 points. He's got to go back and just have a shot at it.
That was a Shell game, though, wasn't it? I mean,
yeah,
he was there 1 minute, he wasn't there, and all of a sudden the ball pops up in his hands.
I think we've got the heart monitor on here, and ABC television has just gone up a fraction. The goal umpire says, you finally know one, Daniel.
Well, Central should be looking for him every time. This is, now they're up, there's no pressure on him to go back and kick the goals. Let him get his confidence up, kick 3 or 4 on the last quarter. Westhoff gets it in quick. As you said, Shell does that brilliantly, uses his body well. He's a hard man to match up on. Carlo, you would have said, done everything pretty much right there. And it's great to see the big fella go back and kick a goal. He works so hard and he's a great forward. Just got to go back and get his confidence kicking the goal.
Daniel Shell had 13 kicks and 10 marks the last time these two sides met in round 8. He kicked 2-5.
Yeah.
Much a standard afternoon for Daniel Shell, really. As all will be recalled. A free kick to South Adelaide, Owen Davey.
Neil, no doubt Roy Laird will be a pretty happy man at this stage of the game. He'd also be happy he's had a big 24 hours. He and wife Connie had their first boy yesterday, Kaylin Alexander. So, Connie, if you're watching there with Kaylin, congratulations.
And right on cue, just to help out South Adelaide's, or rather Central District's cause, Damien Cupido missing that shot to goal. There's Roy Laird. Maybe a bit of a sleepless night. Couldn't have had a sleepless afternoon. He could have had a little bit of a snooze for a quarter and a half and he'd still be in control.
2 behinds to Damien Cupido this afternoon. Curry, I've been impressed with the way Curry's gone about his business today. So too this man in Westhoff, about to get caught by Sampson. Free kick downfield. And Sampson, that's just a little bit of frustration. Not a lot in it, but just a fraction late.
It is, as you say, there's a bit of frustration there. Not a lot in it. It was borderline, you'd say, borderline. But Lee Westhoff, that's the best game I've seen him play today. He's been pretty impressive, I think.
Cupido off, and Daniel Shell's got it. And he'll probably nail this from right on 50.
Exactly what we said. Get him the football now. Let him have shots. If he has another 3 shots, he'll kick every one of them now. His confidence is getting back, which is great. You see that old Central flag again. It's, yeah, probably a bit stiff there, I'd say, Clay Sampson. It was very much borderline, but Shell's had a lot easier shots than that today, and they haven't even looked like going through. That was a good kick, 45-degree angle from 50 out.
And what did he do then? He went back and he kicked through the footy and he kicked it as hard as he could. Sometimes he's just been just a little bit hesitant, but that's amazing.
Yeah, just poking at it before, so it's amazing, a little bit of confidence, what can happen.
Up to 30 goals for the season. Parry, Phoenix Vitala was too impressed if Parry's little toe poke might have collected him on the arm. Now they break forward right, 50 metres away from goal, puts it up, and Ilgerson marks what was a helicopter, let's face it. I don't think it was a pass.
No, they persevered with Ilgerson coming out from the full forward line there and rotated Cupido and Warren. Yeah, he's looked all right in patches, hasn't had a lot of opportunities today.
2 goals this afternoon, one of which I don't think he knew much about. He had a couple of swings at the back of his leg, the front of his shin, and eventually his foot. And that time, kicks a goal, and that's a fair dinkum goal. I don't think you can argue with that one.
No, you'd have to say he's probably done his job. He's kicked 3 goals today in a team that's been thumped, and their midfield hadn't given them a lot of opportunities. The game's certainly opening up a bit now. It's a bit like end-to-end. Central's are certainly controlling it, going down their forward line, and now South's starting to get a few easy kicks as well. But Ilderson finished off with a good kick, and 3 goals for the day is a good effort.
Has been the man they've gone to on most occasions. Ben Warren's just been out of touch, and Cupido hasn't had much of it. Just bizarre that they kicked nearly 20 goals between them in that match against Sturt, going back a few weeks ago. In goes Davey, trying hard, can't release the football from under there.
Ben Warren hasn't touched the ball since the first quarter.
Jeez, not a good day then. Norwood by 26 points over North Adelaide. Big upset brewing there at Prospect, and the Eagles by 26 over West Adelaide at Woodville.
Up goes Bennett. Gee, that is a big upset brewing there, North and Norwood. Mussolino. So Norwood's finals hopes will be well and truly alive if they win this game. That just keeps them in touch.
Glenelg against Port Adelaide tomorrow, important clash, and then we're going to see Norwood against Glenelg next Saturday afternoon at the Parade.
Which will be a big game if Glenelg can get over Port tomorrow. It's going to be, could be a deciding game for the finals going forward.
The next 2 games for South Adelaide will define their season. They've got the Eagles and then Norwood. They play Sturt after that, so testing times for some of these sides. Gowan's got it away to Slade, who just keeps racking them up. So too this man O'Sullivan. The chip kick is all right to Wilson, because if he let it go, the big number 27 was looming, Jiggy.
Get him a football. But Wilson's been great. Earlier in the year we saw him, and he did a few brilliant things. But today he's been so consistent. Every time he's got a football, he's been damaging.
Adrian Wilson, 17 possessions, 9 kicks, 8 handballs. He's birded 1-1. He's had 7 marks too. And he has been a solid performer for them, wearing number 24. Very deliberate approach. To take it out to 61 points. That is well deserved, Adrian Wilson.
Yeah, he's had a great day, as we mentioned. Just beautiful skills. Confident that he's going to go back and kick that. Centrals just keep working hard. They've got the runners, and that's the one thing we said we thought South might hurt them with, but Centrals have certainly beaten South at their game today, but also had the toughness around the footy as well. The ability to throw Wilson up forward. He's shown he can be very dangerous up there when he gets the footy. Shown that he can do it back, so he's going to be just a great asset for Centrals going forward.
I must apologise to Wilbur Wilson, Adrian's dad, who I think I said that he had the goal-kicking trophy at Centrals a couple of times in the 70s. It was in 83 and 84.
Chris, let him up, mate.
Great player for Centrals, Wilbur Wilson.
Ball back in the middle again. A lot has gone, a lot of sting. It's gone out of this match. It's probably been out of it for the best part of a quarter and a half. Centrals have taken control well and truly. James Gowans towards the ball. Well done by Bishop. It's down the line. Nothing much on offer except dogs. And they come from everywhere. Sibonala smothered it with his knees in the end. Taken to ground. Smith released the ball over the boundary line in that interchange area.
Bishop's worked pretty hard for South all day. For South to be a threat in the finals, or to make the finals even, I think they need Cupido and Warren both firing. And the game's over. I don't know why Hyman doesn't put Cupido on, even up around the footy, just to try to find a bit of touch. Same with Warren. Get them both on the ground.
Put him on the ball, let him run around a bit, get a bit of touch.
Get a bit of touch, get a bit of confidence up again. No, he's not going to get it sitting on the bench.
Cupido you're talking about?
Yes, and even Benny Warren.
I thought you'd go so far to say get a bit of fitness as well, but no, that's just me, just looking at him. Yep. Pull the ground right. Kenner slipped away the hand pass to Clark. Clark's kick was perfect down the line. Benny Warren's touched the ball rarely this afternoon. Looks up immediately, he's a long way from goal. Belts it in long. Davey with the rove. Hayes shouldn't have dropped it. He certainly dropped Davey in a hurry. Finally, we'll get a ball up. There's that bit of misty rain coming across again, just for everybody to enjoy. In Warren, hoping SANFL stateside this season. Wright gets free, gets a pass over the top, or gets a kick over the top, and eventually it's a goal. Clever from Wright.
Well, clever from Wright and from the ruck contest there as well. It was obviously a set play. He was running through. We'll probably get to see it again here. Saw Benny Warren there, but there's the tap over the top. I think it was Hamby, was it, that came over and hit it, but it was a good little finish off there. Under a bit of pressure, had to just do the little 9-iron chip and finished off with a goal.
Jared Wright, 8 kicks, 18 handballs.
Interesting that. A lot of players around that don't kick the ball, they just set up play. But Robert Pyman said before this game started, high body pressure will test Centrals. I don't know that that's happened this afternoon.
You couldn't say that South have put a lot of pressure on the Central's players when they've had the football.
The one key thing that they do well, as I mentioned a few moments ago, is they normally run the ball, but they're not running today. Running is Slade. Let himself down with a kick. It might just come off. Everything else has. Now Westhoff, oh, just as casual as you like, slots. Nothing at all or behind. Just got around pretty casual, the big fella. Just showed that maybe a left foot might be handy.
Yeah, he needed to have a go on the left foot there, and probably didn't need the bounce in there either. Just put a little bit more pressure on him. But certainly should have banged it on the left foot and kicked the goal.
Easier said than done, obviously. That big guy.
It's easy from up here, though, Neil.
Well, I guess the other thing is he rarely misses with his right foot, does he? I mean, he's only kicked a few behinds this season.
Might as well have a go at it.
Yeah. Here's Handby. They share the ball against South Adelaide. They have a lot of possessions that are racked up in hand passes, more than any other side in the competition, and 45% of their possessions are hand passes. They get it down to half forward to Clark. Good vision. I think he pulled that across deliberately and perhaps was looking for Archett, but he found Warren on the lead, and Benny Warren, with some relief, goes back to take a kick at goal.
Today, Neil, 52.5% of handballs, so more than half. 175 to 158.
Oh, those fingers, Moggy. They're dancing on the calculator. Guess that's the pressure of Central District too. As Warren goes back in the roar of the crowd of the Panthers supporters. I think they're already halfway back to Noarlunga, disappointed with their team's performance this afternoon. And this time was one of the rare times they were able to get the ball cleanly through the corridor and into Ben Warren.
And he doesn't look real excited that he's kicked the goal, but it's just, he can go back, at least he goes back and said he's kicked a goal, taken a mark. You know, these little things may help to get his form back. That's why I think it's important that he's on the field and providing a target, and I'll do the same with Cupido.
He's a bit frustrated with his performance, obviously, but hasn't been allowed too much space up there. That Central's back line has been outstanding, as it normally is, and Griffin will win a free kick in the middle of the ground. They'd be happy at the Adelaide Crows with this man's performance today. Taken by Swatala, former Essendon player, kicks it inside 50. Shell, one grab, two, not paid. Here's Westhoff, dishes off to Gowans. This is Chris, high ball, who can take a mark? No one. Free kick will go to Kruger for a push in the back. 20.5 minutes gone, 117 plays 67. Wilson and Bishop just get closer acquainted. South want to switch it to the outer side. McGlone finds Carlisle, who's had his hands full with a couple of opponents this afternoon, and the imposing one which Shell is. His kick finds Parry at half back. The Rucks haven't had that much influence from South Adelaide today. Poor kick, Mussolino.
Parry's try hard, 11 marks and 22 possessions.
Yep. I reckon he could play AFL footy, Craig Parry. Really do. Here's Swatala. Kicks it inside, looking for McCabe. One grab, two. No, umpire said Kruger got a hand on that. Then McCabe laid over the footy. And in SANFL footy, the umpires are a little bit more lenient.
Would have thought it was nearly a mark or holding the ball, one or the other, wouldn't it? But came in quick. I think certainly, yeah, he had second bite of the cherry there.
They normally play him, though, don't they?
Don't want to rub it into South today, do they?
Andy released it to McGlone, kicked that ball 50 metres across the goal at the top of the 50. McGlone's kick to Bennett. Now Sanson follows up and he wonders, well, why did I get that hand pass? Off the left foot, down to half forward. Hilgerson on the lead, nice mark, quickly off he goes. And they go inside 50, looking for Warren again. Didn't get the greatest of bounces. Sivanala doubles back, picks it up, holds it inside the boundary line, and then drops it in beautifully to Griffin. The big guy, comfortable going across goals to Hayes, was aware of what was coming, and Davey, and boy, he was coming like lightning. Now Thomas drops it to Slade. Training run stuff now. Slade gives the hand pass away. Got one in the ribs from Clark. Already been suspended twice this season as David Clark. Wouldn't want to incur the wrath of the tribunal again for striking. He goes in forward and Slade's still down. Griffin's running through the middle of the field. Well done by Griffin, the big man reaching down, and then a nice kick out in front of James Gowans, who dropped it. Coming back the other way, Kenner. Central's fans that you hear are not very happy at that decision. No free kick when Slade was hit by Clark. Kenner danced his way out of trouble. Lovely little poke into the middle of the ground right. Right then, over the top looking for Warren again on the lead, and it's almost like Sivanala has just given a little bit more space for Warren. It is late in the game. We are beyond 23 minutes in this final quarter, and that margin, of course, 50 points. So you could forgive people for easing up just slightly. Warren hooks it, minor score.
Yeah, Sivanala's had a good day. Good day today, no doubt about that. Just a bit of a little punch tackle, and I think he might have been reported by the sound of the crowd. I'm not sure there, but I think Slade just winded in that little glove tackle. So.
You're spot on, Chiggy. Craig Doddridge just went over to David Clark moments ago and looked at the number and said, you have been reported. So that'll be the third time this year he'll front for the tribunal.
Not learning too quickly, David Clark. Here's Shell. He'll kick a monster from here. No, he won't. He decides to slip it in short, and Chris Gowans takes the mark under a lot of pressure from Scott McGlone.
Yeah, and that was the right decision by Shell there. He's going to be right on his limit there. He was outside 50, so he's going to make sure of it and get it back to Chris Gowans going back and kick the goal.
Has a clean sheet this afternoon, goal-wise, Chris Gowans, but he's been outstanding. 14 kicks, 9 handballs. Half a dozen marks to go on with, and he'll love a goal to finish off his work here. And it's still a clean sheet. I don't know whether our effects microphone picked it up, but I don't think you're real happy.
No, you'd be disappointed with that. Had a great day though, Chris and James. They've both been fantastic around the footy, and especially James up around the goals has set up a lot of goals for the Centrals today.
James has had 32 possessions today, Matthew Slade 33, Reece Archard's had 31 for South, and Stephen Kenner 29.
King took the mark. Bennett did well. He protected his man from Griffin's attempt to spoil. Down the line, Bishop turned his man around, couldn't stop the ball before it went out of bounds on centre wing. Matthew Bishop, I would have thought his days as an AFL player are probably coming to an end.
Yeah, you'd think so, but he's actually been good today, I think. He's for South in a team that struggled. He is one that certainly worked hard.
Griffin and King, Griffin over the top. Wilson broke away. Geez, good to watch, except for that part.
I'll do it to you, Neil, you know that.
He's just got that ability to shimmy and get away from players. Chris Gowans up towards the 50. Bennett was in front, so Shell punched away. Archard leading in the race for the ball. Mogridge just interested in Reece Archard's figures this afternoon. A little bit down on his production this season. I would have thought he hasn't had a huge impression on the game, and having said that, we're looking at them right now, and they are pretty impressive, really.
Yeah, about his average, I think, in recent times.
Didn't seem to be effective. 31 possessions for the game at the moment, Archie.
The average is 28, so he slips under the radar. He just accumulates under the radar. This man, Thomas, just off a standing start from Kruger. Ball just jars free. No 25. The umpire comes in and officiates, as they love to do, these umpires. Kruger's kick, looking for Thulis. The lead in the legs for Josh Thulis, has worked hard, but bouncing around is Elijah Ware, who spots up Daniel Shell, a kick and a half out from goal. would take a lot of luck and a fair breeze for Shell to get it from there. Decides to chip it to Ware. Ware is just going to kick it high and hope for a mark. Up they go. Westhoff fell in his lap, snaps on goal, and he's got one. Has he? He has. Oh, it took him. He likes working things fine, this young man. It's taken him to the 27.5-minute mark of the final term. Doesn't look too happy about it. He's worked pretty hard.
He has worked hard, and Daniel Shell's had a great last quarter, kicked a couple of goals, taken some good marks, set that one up. Should have held the bat there, but it's a bit difficult when you've got players in front of you and the ball, you can sort of misjudge it. But did well for a big man to recover off the ground and kick the goal. Hasn't been his best day, but he's still a very impressive young player.
And still South Adelaide's last win at Elizabeth, round 2, 1999. So it's a long time since they won out here. Clark, long, inside forward 50. A lot of players decided that Ilgeson's back looked like something you should jump on. And one of them, take your pick, between Curry and Sibanola and Schooler, has given a free kick to Ilgeson.
Neil, just while Dennis Ilgeson lines up here, Chris Gowan's just come from the ground and mentioned that he put a drill bit through his finger at work on Thursday, so he had that taken out. Not happy, but he's played under a fair bit of duress today.
That was Chris, right?
Yeah, that was Chris.
So I think it was Chris last year put the nail gun through his arm as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he needs to go back to his apprenticeship days and learn some lessons.
Ilgeson, nice kick. Good finish.
Coming out close.
He's had a fair day out now with 4 goals.
He certainly has. You'd say he's made the most of his opportunities up there. There hasn't been heaps of them, but 4 goals. There he is, taking the strapping off the finger. You see if all the fingers there are only half of it, but he's had a good day.
Probably need a set of glasses or something. These boys not really seeing what's going on at the moment. Yeah, that's a nasty little wound there, isn't it?
It's a bit tender, doesn't it?
They're as tough as boot leather, the Gowans boys. The good work, 4 goals to Ilgeson. Back in the centre, here comes Davey. South coming with a late flurry. All too late, Warren takes the mark. Good body work, decided to play on. Flanking him is Bishop. Now Bishop from 45 metres out kicks a real old helicopter. I think he might have got it over the goal umpire's hat that fell off. So a goal to Matthew Bishop. I think he's only kicked 5 or 6 in this NFL footy.
Yeah, again, Benny Warren has actually provided a bit since he's come on in this last quarter. He's had a few shots at goals and handed that one off to Bishop. Again, hopefully building his confidence up so he can get back into some good form for South Adelaide. But as we mentioned, Sibanola has probably dropped off the pace a little bit when the Centrals are in such a commanding position.
There it is. A commanding victory by the Dogs. They lost the round 8 encounter by 56 down at Noarlunga. And for Rob Pyman and his men, today was payback day, and the South Adelaide coach doesn't look too happy about it, does he? And nor should he be. The final score there, Central District 19-9-123, 43-point victors over South 12-8-80.
Yeah, Robbie Pyman would certainly be very disappointed with today's effort. We all expected South to come out and have a real dip. Have a look at him there. You can see that it's a pretty tough day in the office for Robbie, and it certainly doesn't help their chances in making the finals. A win today against Central certainly would have set them up beautifully, but after looking at the game today, there's not a lot you could certainly take from the day for South Adelaide. They didn't have too many good players at all.
Chad O'Sullivan, one of the best on the ground, is with Sodas.
Well, Chad, round 8, South beat you guys pretty comfortably at their home. It was nice to return the favour.
Yeah, definitely. Down there, it was a long trip. We got beaten by 10 goals. We didn't man up, and today, you know, we just put a lot of pressure on them, and they coughed up the ball, and yeah, we had a good win in the end. It was good.
Now, what about that second term? You just had it on a string, 4 goals. Just run us through what was happening out there.
I don't know. I think it was a bit of a purple patch. Must be these jumpers, but no, it was good. Just last week, sort of a bit disappointed with my goal kicking, and made it up today, so I'm pretty happy.
Well, you certainly did, no doubt about that. You crossed over from Werribee this season. How have you found the SANFL? You look like you're fitting in well now.
Yeah, it's definitely a great competition. I rate it one of the best outside the AFL. That's why I came here to give it a crack. It's definitely older guys, stronger, and yeah, I love it. The crowd, the supporters, and Central is a great club.
And you probably knew a little bit about Central because you had played against the Gowns boys, I think, playing for the VFL a couple of years back.
Yeah, that's right. Last year I tagged Chris in the state game just for a little run, and yeah, I didn't really want to be playing against them. I'd like to be their teammate because they're pretty hard boys. So.
Well, Chad, well done today. Super effort in the second term. Well done to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Cheers.
Chad O'Sullivan, been impressive this afternoon.
Yeah,
14 kicks and 13 hand passes.
Had a great day, especially in that second quarter. I think it was where he kicked those 4 goals. He certainly set the game up for Centrals. He's been a great pickup. He works hard all over the ground, but very dangerous up forward, as we saw today.
Well, he replaced Marco Bello in that number 7 Guernsey. Marco Bello bookended his seasons here at Centrals with best and fairest, and also, of course, played in their 5 premierships. So big boots to fill, big Guernsey to fill, Chad O'Sullivan.
Yeah, Marco Bello is a great player for Centrals there, but as Sullivan showed today, he's going to be just as dangerous if he can keep that form up.
Well, really, opening quarter, it was pretty tight, and certainly South Adelaide started well, but a 5-point lead for Centrals at quarter time, and they really did shut them down after that.
It was certainly downhill for South after that first quarter. They worked hard early. They probably had all the play pretty much in the first 10 minutes of the first quarter, and that was a great goal there by Davey. Looked like he was going to be set for a big day, but after that we didn't see a lot of him. He came in a little bit, and there was that very strange goal there, but certainly got it through. He had a reasonable day, Idrison, I think, and he'd end up with 4 goals. So a couple of players stood up for South, but in Parry I thought worked hard and Bishop worked hard, but Centrals were the certainly dominant team all day, especially after that first 10 minutes of the first quarter.
The thing is that they do work in hard so much, but then when the game breaks open, Central's still got the game to take it away, don't they?
They certainly do, and we mentioned the run might worry Central today. It certainly didn't do that at all. They were the team that actually took the game by the scruff of the neck and played on at every opportunity they had, and that just hurt South on many occasions.
No doubt about that. The margins there, 5 points as I mentioned at quarter time. Central's actually only taking the lead at the 26-minute mark of the opening quarter, but from there it was 43 at half time, 50 at three-quarter time. South Adelaide won the last quarter, but still down by 43 points.
Yeah, Luke McCabe had a fantastic day today. I thought he worked hard. You wouldn't say he was their best player, but he set up a lot of plays and was a very good player for them. But you can go through their whole list, and there were very, very few bad players for them, if any, I would say.
There's an example just in close, getting the ball free, and Adrian Wilson into an open goal.
Yeah, he gets better and better, Wilson. He's going to be, if he doesn't get drafted, which is a fair chance too, I suppose, he's going to be a very good player for Centrals. He's just dangerous forward or back, as we mentioned. It's great to see Daniel Sherwin in that last quarter have a few shots of goals. He ended up with 4 goals, I think, and had a very good day in the end, but could have had an absolute builder if he hadn't missed those shots of goal early.
Yeah, kicked 2 in the final quarter. Here's Hadley running off half back. He was good this afternoon.
Yeah, he didn't provide the run that he probably normally does, but neither did any of their back lines. So and that's what South certainly rely on, is that run from half-back, which wasn't there.
Well, they came into this game, Central District, having lost their past 2 to Norwood by 2 points and the Eagles by 24. So they were looking for a win, and they short topped it off. It was back to the 70s for the Doggies this afternoon, and the Panthers, and unfortunately it was the Doggies who really spanked the Panthers, no doubt about that. Just another look through that, and it was all over really at halftime. 43 points the margin, and that indeed was the final margin as well.
Certainly was. If you go through there, we saw Sullivan finish with 4, Shell with 4. Certainly Centrals were the dominant team there, and there wasn't much. Ilgerson up forward for South was about the only real target.
And through those stats very quickly, just the inside 50s. In the end, they evened up a bit. Certainly the Panthers were dominant early, but Bulldogs just too strong.
Yeah, look at the kicks there, certainly dominant in the kicks there, and the centre breaks, as we say, all important centre breaks. Central stumped South there.
joining me down here in the central change rooms is the Victorious coach, Roy Laird. And Roy, after the disappointment of last week against Norwood, nice to turn it around.
Yeah, it was good. Our last 2 weeks, two games, we feel as we played some good football, but hadn't taken our chances. Today, our skill level was a bit higher. We kicked a bit better in front of goal, and overall our skill level through the whole day was probably up.
Luke Cowan going down with a groin is a massive loss for you guys. But the good thing was we got to see Adrian Wilson up half forward. Did he look good? Yeah,
which is something we've had in mind all year. He's a real creative player just by instincts, and going there he did run around and got some good footy for us. We like having players who are flexible, and Adrian's certainly one of those.
The game was well and truly wrapped up in the last term, but South did get a bit of the ball in that last term. Does that disappoint you a bit?
Yeah, it does, major way. We effectively haven't played the footy we'd like over 4 quarters all year. Today I thought at 3/4 time we had the opportunity to go on and really drive it home, but we didn't. Disappointing, but the win's the main thing for today.
Now, Roy, I want to put a smile on your face now. Congratulations in order, no doubt. Not for the football, but on the family front there, you welcomed a new pup into the kennel.
Yeah, we did. No, it's pretty special. I want to say hello to Connie and Kaylin, sorry. Kaylin, can't believe it. He's only 1 day old. Give me a chance. They're going really well.
Good on you, mate. Congratulations with the footy. More importantly, congratulations with young Kaylin.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Well, under Roy Laird, we just have a look through some of the things that went wrong for South Adelaide this afternoon. Their turnovers and their skill errors in a high possession game, if that's what you're trying to play, are going to cost you.
It certainly does cost you, and that was just that was when the rain came in there a bit. But you've got to take your hat off to Centrals. They put the pressure on South all day, which caused the turnovers.
Well, ahead on ABC TV football next week, very interesting clash with Glenelg to play tomorrow against Port Adelaide, and then ahead of them next Saturday afternoon at the Parade, it's Norwood against Glenelg, Westies against North Adelaide, Sturt against Central at the Adelaide Oval. That could be anything. And then on Sunday, South against the Eagles, with Port having the bye. Interesting thing there is those results from this afternoon. Still, it'll be very interesting to see what those results were. You can see those in the ABC News at 7 o'clock tonight. We know the result from here is a 43-point victory for Central District, and a little bit of back to 70s feel to their song. Let's have a listen.
For we are the red, white and blue. Sing